It's the eternal question. Just how hot are these mics? We'll never really know. It's always a bit of a surprise. You never really know exactly how hot the mics are until you touch them and find out. Hey, good evening, everybody. My name is Bleakseason. This is Guild Superior. We are starting tonight, very excited to start tonight, a new story arc in the Shadesong universe, a little homebrew concoction. This one's called The Wreckage of Stars. It follows the one that we did just before, of course, which was called Winter Thrice, and some of the elements from that one tie into this one, sort of loosely a little bit, but you'll see all of that here very shortly. I, in my short tenure as streaming GM, have been incredibly blessed to consistently get to play with amazing players, and tonight is no different. Some of these faces you'll recognize as usual suspects I've been in jail with before, and some of them are brand new baby faces that have never appeared on Guild Superior before. You know, but I think we should all welcome them with the exact same amount of gusto. Here they are. Look at these faces. Look at how beautiful they are. Look at how serious. They've read up on all the lore. They know this world inside and out as much as I do. And they're ready to rumble. Are you ready to rumble? That's the real question. Are you ready to rumble, guys? How you doing? How's everybody doing?
Real question is whether or not I'm going to bail you out next time.
You know, I bail you out, you bail me out.
Yeah.
It's the same $5 anyways. It's kind of like this whole it's kind of like this whole streaming industry. It's the same $5 that just keeps rolling around from one person to the next. Speaking
$5
whole dollars.
Gets a little bit smaller every time too because Twitch takes a cut.
A little smaller and just a little greasier. Speaking of $5, Scoos. This is, I mean, at this point, next time, instead of getting someone to make me a new logo for Shadesong, I'm literally just going to put Scoos' face on there, because Scoos is basically, at this point, the face of Shadesong. Like, he's appeared in these things more often than I have, and I've run all of them, so.
Don't know how that's possible.
I don't know, but it's, you vibrate through time.
I appear in your Shadesong dreams. Is that what you're telling me?
That's right.
Nightmares. I am Scoozy, the Scoos News. You can find me on Twitter at Scoos News, and I am super stoked to be back for another delightful, calm, pleasant, pastoral saga of the Shadesong series. And you can find me mostly hanging out in the Guild Superior Discord, so come say hi. I'll be playing Atla this evening, a sickly dwerg
in need of some vitamins.
Yeah. And we'll see what he's all about in a bit. Super happy and humbled to be playing with everybody here. This is going to be very fun.
Super glad to have you, as always, Scoos. You know, like my good luck charm at this point, or bad luck charm. Who knows what it is. Thank you, Lumbee Bronze Arm, for the follow. As the Scoos was talking, it must have been the Scoos that did it. People see the Scoos and they want to follow. That's right. Speaking of following the Scoos everywhere he goes, the Hoke's GM, Miko, in the house. How you doing, Miko?
If I followed Scoos everywhere he went, I would probably not get into anywhere near as much trouble as I get into. Hi, everyone. I am Miko, otherwise known as the OKSGM. Links are in the chat. Connect me on socials if you're ever interested in talking things, gaming, GMing, homebrewing, producing, because I'm also a producer of streaming related stuffs, and I'm a fan of AI art and all of those kinds of topics too. Love debating, love talking about all of that. Hit me up if you're ever interested in those things. I will be playing Dara tonight, the twin brother of Atla, and let's just say the healthier of the two, both physically and mentally. And we'll just leave it at that for now.
Yeah, the brotherly love is already shining right through. Thank you so much for being in here, Miko. Always fun to play with you. I appreciate you being here and always being there to bail me out. I super appreciate it. Thank you so much. Next up in this ship of fools is the man who has a stormtrooper in his home.
Always watching.
Always watching. Adrian, how you doing, Adrian? What's up?
I'm doing good. Hi, my name is Adrian,
Adrian Godinez. I go on the internet. You can catch me on the socials at SlySparrow_ on Twitter and Instagram and Discord and all those fun things. Links I'm sure are in the chat. I'm an actor, producer, and lover of tabletop role-playing games, and I have the privilege of playing with all of these lovely people tonight. Please, let's start a conversation about gaming and acting and Shakespeare and let's talk the night away. Looking forward to interacting with you all. My character tonight is a human called Idolo Jambi, which is kind of a mixture between a fool, a Zen monk, and a mentalist. So he's kind of a traveling monkish type wizard who is out to investigate some strange happenings in his land, a traveler and lover of all things. Looking forward to seeing where his character and where his adventures lie.
And knowing you, it's going to go to some very interesting places. Thank you so much, Adrian, for coming here and playing with us. I always appreciate playing with you. It's always a lot of fun. Thank you so much. And then finally, the baby face of the group, the new face of the group, Olo Clark. What's up? Straight out of Compton.
Hi, everyone. My name's Otto Clark. I'm an actor and a writer, and I'm the creative director over at Escape Plan Games. Really excited to be here. I've obviously known about Guild Superior for a while, so I was absolutely honored and thrilled to be invited on, and to get my teeth into a 5-part stream is a real treat. So I can't wait for this. If I sound at all familiar, it's because Guild Superior foolishly had my brother on not that long ago, and they followed up that idiocy with the sheer stupidity of deciding to bring me on as well. So we will have to see quite how I break the channel. Really looking forward to this. I will be playing Amloth tonight, the Wildren Bard, who has been dispatched to find out what's a brewing.
What's a brewing? It's probably some tea. Just gonna say that, you know, as far as bars being set go, the episode your brother was in did get nominated for AP of the Year.
Yeah, no pressure,
so
right?
I'm just saying, you know, like, I'm hoping you're bringing some of that magic over here.
I've got a shelf of Emmys somewhere. I just need to sort of polish them off.
Are you an EGOT? Are you an EGOT yet?
I'm working on the E, the G, and then after that, I'm working on the O and the T.
No, see, that's a good plan. At least you get a plan. Having a plan, super important. Super happy to have you all. Been watching your work. I've seen you in some stuff with Kayla, and you're always very good. So I was super happy that you decided to come and play here. And I hope you show your brother up. So, you know,
me too.
Pulling for you.
Yeah,
Pulling for you.
That's my arc.
You're my favorite clock. You're my favorite clock brother. There you go. Let's put it that
It's
way.
all about siblings in this episode.
There it is.
right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, all of you, amazing players as usual, and I look forward to getting to this. We will get into this very shortly. Gotta throw out a couple of shout outs first. First, I'll shout myself out because, you know, you got to do a little self-promotion. I am the Bleakseason. You can find me at the Bleakseason online on Twitters, various other places. And you can check out bleakseason.com, which is the little repository of all Shadesong info that I do have. So you can scope that out if you want. Our producer tonight is on just about every night here at Shadesong is Andy. Thank you to Andy, who moves all the little buttons and the little levers backstage so I can focus on running these games. I truly appreciate you, Andy. Thank you very much for being here. The music you will be hearing is from tabletopaudio.com. They have a ton of really cool sounds, a lot of cool music. You can be members of the Patreon like we are to get like a bunch of variations, but you can still just go to their website and get a ton of stuff for free, music for your actual plays, your tabletop game at home, whatever you're doing, just for background, for writing or working. They got tons of really good music. You'll hear a lot of it tonight. I make a lot of my own maps, but tonight I'll also be using some maps from Animated Dungeon Maps. Absolutely lovely stuff. We've had them on here before. Always appreciate using their stuff. I'm also using tonight, and I unfortunately believe that I forgot to put in the shout out command for Andy to put in, but I'll do it in a little bit. I also am using a map from Solution Maps tonight, and I'll pop the thing in the chat here in a second. Other amazing map maker. The logo, Shadesong logo, was designed by Mr. Creep, whose things should be popping up in there also. Thank you so much, Mr. Creep. And finally, I would like to give a big shout out to Guildspear, everybody else at Guildspear that's here, playing games with us, producing games with us, Dave, Ashley, everyone in our Discord, everyone in our games. If you want to hang out with us, maybe get into some games or just, put some memes up on the board like we like to do in our Discord, come on down. We love having new people, and we're always looking for people to hang out and play games with. Finally, we are using the Dragonbane system from Free League Publishing for this game. It's the PDF, the early Kickstarter backer PDF, so it's like kind of a beta version. So what the rules we're using may not be exactly the same that come out in a few months when the system comes out, but we're using it for Shadesong. It's been a lot of fun. It's kind of deadly, but it's a great little system. Highly recommend it. And with that out of the way, let's see if I remember solutions shout out command.
I already did the shout out for you, Christian.
Oh, all right. Thanks. All right.
Yeah.
So Solution Maps, check him out. He's doing fantasy maps now in addition to sci-fi stuff. And you should be seeing more of his work on Shadesong in the coming weeks. All right. So as we begin tonight's game, we are in the area known as the Cadwall Highlands. The Cadwall Highlands is the home of the Dvergs, the Highland Dvergs, and is basically the bread and fruit basket of Eld. It is a place of beautiful hills, beautiful fields, beautiful valleys, a lot of hunting, a lot of farming going on. It is where most of the food production basically of Eld sort of comes from. The people themselves are very gregarious, very warm people, always welcoming, and always ready to raise a pint, have a good time. Unfortunately for the Dvergs of the Cadwall Highlands, they have a problem in that there are these giant monoliths that are placed here and there throughout the valley. No one knows exactly where they come from. Unfortunately, these monoliths have a weird, bad tendency to affect the world around them, mainly through the elements, and they cause these storms called shatter storms that are basically, imagine fire, earth, and whatnot just dropping from the sky randomly throughout a storm. And that's sort of what happens with these things. And it was very contained for a while. There are Dvergs that specialize in sort of researching them and harnessing their power for energy. They're called stormcallers. So for a while, it was basically just kind of a bit of an annoyance, but also sort of useful to gather energy. But now they've started to grow more erratic. They've started to grow in size. They're affecting the neighbors, the Whisperwood Wildren to the south. And now is sort of time to do something about this and to try to figure out exactly what they are and how they function and why are they suddenly sort of going a little loco. As we open up in the town of Kinnacree, which is a small town to the east of the Highlands, just on the border between the Highlands and Trust, which is the Ashkari land. Things are a little bit weird. This should be early spring, a time of plowing those fields, getting some sowing done, getting ready to get the fields going. And unfortunately, it's still snowing every day. And while the ground isn't completely frozen, the air is very chill. The ground is basically just a muddy mess that's still mostly covered in snow. And this is very odd because we should be totally into spring by now. And of course, this is as much as anyone can figure out. Probably the effect of the monoliths. There is a monolith that is not too far from Kinnacree. And so in this town, very recently arrived a stranger from even further east, from the land of Carthum. And the stranger has been banging about town here for a little while, waiting for someone that he's hoping to meet. And perhaps, Adrian, you would like to tell us a little bit about who the stranger is and what he looks like.
as this stranger from the east, kind of, you can tell that he is very sun-kissed and darker skinned, very bright clothing, and kind of very long, elaborate robes and a headdress. He always seems to move very kind of fluidly, and as the mentalist Idolo Jombi has arrived into this town, he would have very much found a place that's very centered in the town. He's always kind
of... I think we've lost Adrian.
Oh.
Hope that's not the tornado calling.
Yeah, there are apparently some very bad storms out where Adrian is, sort of symbolically enough and appropriately enough, and he had warned us that his connection might cut. And I guess it has. So hopefully him and his house are still there. We will carry on then, and when he returns, we will get back to this particular moment in time. Also arriving in town are two wildren arriving from the south. One of them I will present to you quickly, and then I will ask Allo to tell us a little bit about the other. The first one is a tall, dark-skinned ranger named Ophid, and the cameras are all over the place now. Hey, what's life without what's life without a little bit of entertainment? Hey,
he's back.
Hey,
everything okay?
Yeah, I just had a glitch for a second. Sorry about that.
No problem. You all right? Everything all right down where you are?
Yeah, I'm sure it's fine. I've got headphones. They're noise canceling. I don't know what's going on outside.
All right. And you good to continue? Do you want to pick up where you were?
Yeah.
Or
so right. I'll pick up where I was. So I could imagine that he would be slowly getting annoyed as at any time he gets into kind of a zen-like state, he gets hit with a snowball and hears the sounds of children laughing at him. He's been in town not very long, but he's been telling stories to these children and has been kind of gathering some friends. And anytime he tries to get a little peace, he gets accompanied by children. Now, he normally likes to be around children because as a mentalist, if he were to read the minds of people, he much would prefer the innocence of children versus some of the people he's met in his travels. So he finds it somewhat calming and mischievous, and he kind of has an adventurous taste. So he would open up one eye and start roaring and picking up a child, putting it on his shoulders, and running around the village like a madman as the children are chasing him.
Very nice. And he is quite a sight, as there's a sort of paleness and grayness that has settled in on the village as people are sort of hesitant to pull out their more their flashier and lighter and perhaps more flamboyant summer wear, and are still wearing their thick winter clothes. And so you really do stand out with your beautiful colors. Speaking of strangers arriving in town, you, Adolo, would be outside, perhaps having just scared the hell out of some children with some of your mentalist tricks, when you would see approaching from the south, as I was just saying, two travelers. The first one that arrives is a dark-skinned Wildern Ranger with a longbow on his back, on top of a horse, who is coming into town looking quite serious, and sort of his eyes darting about and sort of taking in everything. He looks like he's been through perhaps a good week or so of traveling. His clothing is kind of wet and dirty and dusty a little bit, and he certainly looks like he's ready for a nice warm meal and a nice bit of fire roaring. And accompanying him, coming up alongside him on his own horse, is another feller, another Wildren. Aldo, would you care to tell us a little bit about who this is?
Of course. So, pulling up similarly dust-blown and on the ragged side after some days of travel, the first thing that strikes most people about Amloth is his hair. It's a bird's nest of brown curls with early streaks of grey that's pretty unkempt even for a Wildren. The curls continue into a sort of short chin beard that's even more run through with white and grey, that shows he's moving comfortably through middle age now. He's a little shorter than most Wildren and has the beginnings of a gut that is years of beloved food starting to catch up with him. He's big, dark green eyes tend to twinkle, and he's never far away from a quiet smile. It's a bit chillier than he'd like out here in the Highlands, so he's wrapped in more furs than most of the locals are, on top of a green cloak and tunic, out of the sleeves of which you can make out an assortment of tattoos of various ages and qualities. On his wrists and fingers, he's wearing an assortment of mundane brass, silver, rings, bangles, braids, bits of coloured string, all just a collection that speaks to treasured memories and important people. His boots are good, and his walking staff is strong, and as we sort of pull into the village, he takes one deep breath in and puts a hand on his companion's shoulder and goes, just smell that offered dwarvish cooking, friend. Dwarvish beer. At last, we can get a decent meal in. What do you say?
Oh, the food's a bit less drab than this place. He sort of looks around and takes in the rather gray and sad surroundings, because you're not going to be writing many a rousing song about this place, I can tell you that much.
Come on, Offit, don't be so dour. Look, they appear to have some sort of village jester running about after the children. It can't be all that bad.
That's not exactly the type of set I was expecting to welcome us here. Just maybe let's, I don't know, that's a little bit strange. Let's perhaps just head in. Actually, you'll come up on a man. It looks like he's perhaps a farmer, and he's sitting right now on the little sort of wooden fence that surrounds his field, and the field right now is fallow, and it's covered with snow, and he's looking kind of forlorn as he's smoking a pipe and start looking at this, and often will be like, good man, could you direct us to the inn, please? And the dwerg will sort of look over his shoulder, and he'll point over with his pipe at one of the bigger buildings that's standing there. And as you're sort of walking deeper into this sort of area, this sort of village or town, you can clearly see it's some sort of crossroads kind of town. Like, there's a lot of traffic that probably comes through here. Normally, the road is really rutted and sort of grooved in. The inn is the masterpiece of the place. It's large, way larger than you would expect for a place like this. The village itself looks kind of old, but something that sort of sticks out, especially to you as someone who has traveled and who kind of notices things like this. And this is something that Idola would have come to understand also. This place is, as sort of a crossroads, there's more than just dvergs here. You can see here and there, you can see some humans, you can see some Ashkari in here also. There are not really any other Wildren, but you do see different people, and you can see that, like, the general store has a very sort of human presentation in the sign outside and so on and so forth. The tavern has a very dvergish sort of presentation with the runic writing and the sort of tartan flags and things of that nature. But it does seem to be like a sort of melting pot place where there's people from different areas and different places. And as much as this court jester, as you just called him, is obviously standing out, the people don't seem to see him as standing out. Like everyone, as people are walking by, they'll stop and say hi to him or sort of wave or whatnot. So he kind of seems like, he's part of the place. So you do get this sense of a very welcoming place, a place that's used to seeing strangers and so on and so forth. And as someone who, as a bard and as someone who's traveled and seen places like this, it is very strange to see it so drab and gray and kind of run down. You would expect that this place probably usually has kind of a lot of life to it. So it is a little bit sort of strange to feel this sort of drabness about it. But the two of you will sort of cross the town square and head off towards where the tavern is. And as you're stepping in front of the stables, and the little boy, the hostler's boy, comes out and takes your horses and greets you very warmly. You know, he doesn't not at all seem sort of to find you strange or whatnot. He just, you know, comes out and is very friendly. You notice coming down the main road from the west, there's a group of dvergs that are coming on horses. The dverg use horses, and something that does stand out a little bit also, Olo, to you, and would have been probably something that would have stood out to Adolo also. They do have horses, but they also have these big rams that are kept in some not they're not kept in a pen, but they're kept sort of free grazing, sort of on the back, and they're strange because they're very big and sort of muscly. Not the type of ram you would ride. Obviously, we're not in World of Warcraft, but there's still kind of a bit of a side. They look pretty stout and sort of built for hard work. But anyways, coming down the road are a group of people. A few of them are sort of obviously guards, but one of them stands out. The one that's sort of riding at the head of the whole thing. It is cold. It is windy. There's snow coming down, but the man at the head of this ride basically is just wearing sort of the kill with the sash, nothing else. Bald head, out in the cold, looking very proud and very sort of, you know, serious atop his horse. And flanking him on either side are two others that stand out from the pack of dvergs that are coming in. The others, as I said, look like, you know, they're probably just guards that are accompanying this person, whoever he is. But the two on either side stand out a little bit more, and they're probably bickering as we meet them, but I'll let them decide. So which one of the two comes first? Which one of the two arrived first?
Look, Atla, just because you think that fucking ale tastes delicious doesn't mean that I have to find it delicious, goddammit.
I just think you could do with a little of expanding your horizons, my wee little brother.
You're the younger one, goddammit.
I am not. I'm the older and the taller.
Right, you're the taller one. Sure. Whatever you fucking say. I like my ale the way I like my ale, and that isn't going to change just because you get me to drink some kind of fucking swill that some maiden in a bar told you was good. And
you could do with listening to some more maidens, my brother.
You two bastards realize that you started this argument 4 days ago when we left Cardiff, and you're still carrying on right now about the exact same fucking thing, right?
He won't let it go?
It's sort of a two-pronged thing. You're both kind of not letting go of anything, and it was kind of interesting when there was nothing else going on, but there's like things here and people, and perhaps it might be time to stow it away, don't you think?
Aye, my lord, you're right, of course.
I'm in your debt, of course.
For what it's worth, though, 4 days really isn't that much time when it comes to us.
I dread to think what would happen if we were traveling much further abroad. Remind me not to take you on any sort of long-term vacations.
You should have seen us at You should have seen us at last winter festival with the whole family. That 8 days was it, Atla?
I don't remember past 5.
I heard about it. Didn't you set the fucking barn on fire?
Just the one, of course.
This time.
Right, this time. Try NBA while we're here, would you?
Of course, sir. Yes.
And as they sort of pull into the village, your horses are being taken care of, and you too, Adolo, sort of see these people coming. And as the lead man, the lead dverg, steps off his horse, people come from all around. They're like, "My king, King McIvor," and they surround. And you realize obviously that this is the king, but like people just sort of come up to him, and he's like, you know, giving hugs to people and, you know, picking up the kids, and he's definitely a dverg of the people, so to speak. And people seem to really like him, and he seems to be a very sort of down-to-earth man of the people, dwerg of the people, I guess, sort of thing. And as this is all going on, Idolo, you'll hear coming up from behind you a woman's voice that says, "I hear you've been looking for me. You should speak up. I can't hear you."
Idolo will turn his head over his shoulder and give a nice wide grin, like, "Are you
Morag, yes, I am.
Morak?
Morag.
Right, sons, my friend. I have been waiting for you all this while, and I'm so glad to finally meet your acquaintance." And then Idolo will give a long bow, and will stay bowed until been told to rise.
Did you lose something? Are you looking for something? Can I help you? And she starts looking at the ground. Did you lose? Oh, here it is. And she'll find like a little penny or something. Is this what you lost then?
Yes. Yes.
I hear from Lake Near that he's the one who sent you to me.
Yes. I come seeking information regarding the monoliths in this area.
What monoliths are you talking about?
The ones that are causing the storms.
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Oh. Well, perhaps I need to speak to somebody else.
I'm just pulling your leg, old man. Come on. These other
Good
people
one.
are here for that
Good one.
also.
You're very good at that. Yes.
I just spend like a whole week on my own out in the wilds. You know, I got to get my social entertainment where I can. Come on.
Ah, yes. Lead the way.
Are the kids pestering you? I could tell them to go away if you want.
Oh, no. I enjoy the company. It's good to have a little frivolity and innocence. I am afraid that it may not always exist in my life, so I treasure it when I can.
It's very good of you. It is certainly, well, strange times, and I sometimes dread to think about what kind of world might be left for them as they grow up, these bairns. But, you know, hopefully, with your help and with the help of these fine gentlemen here, perhaps we can do something about it. If the king's not too busy, perhaps the rest of us lowly subjects could have a moment of his attention. And the king, who'd been, you know, glad-handing and sort of hugging some babies and talking to people, and he was like asking the farmers how it was going, what was happening, and sort of really getting the information about the lion and sort of the impact of this strange weather people are having. He turns around and he goes, "Morag, you're just the person I was coming here to see." It's like, "I know, that's why I showed up. That's very kind of you. Do you think we could have a moment to have a bit of a wee chat, you and me?" She says, "Absolutely." And she'll look at you two boys, and you've encountered Morag before. She's she's kind of like a druid. She's not a druid, but she's kind of like a druid. Like, she's very involved in a lot of things that have to do. And you especially, Miko, would know her as she is one of the members of the Stormcallers. She'll look up and go, "Darag, would you mind taking your brother and the rest of these folks perhaps to the inn, get yourself some warm food and drink. I'll see what the king wants to bend my ear about, and as soon as we have a sort of plan of attack, I will come back and find you. You should take these two with you. I have a feeling that they're probably here also about the same thing." And she points to the two Wildren, and the sort of lead one will say, "Indeed, madam, we've been sent by the Archdruid to assist your people in the matter of these shatter storms that have been unfortunately crawling over to where we reside." Darag, you would have known him when you did your research originally on the border between the Kidwell Islands and the Whisperwood. He would have been one of the people you met there. His name is Ophid. You would not necessarily know him super well, but he was kind of part of the detachment of the Wildren you would have met there when you exchanged information and sort of told him. So he'll come up to Ophid will come up to you and go, "It's a pleasure to meet you again. Darag, was it?"
It's Dara, thank you very much.
Dara.
And Dara will turn to Morag, bow his head very honorably and say, of course, Stormcaller, I'm happy to assist in any way that I can.
Appreciate it. Find yourselves some food and some drink, and the people around here probably know a few things about what's been going on, so see what sort of information you can rustle up. Any fresh information will be helpful in what we have to do. King McIver, shall we? Right, let's go. You behave now, boys, especially you. And he points at Adler.
But as long as you're paying, I'll be on my best behavior.
You just sort of. Come
Come on, men, let's go, gentlemen.
It'll be like, you right there, Amoth?
Much appreciate a moment that the king has taken so that we can take a moment ourselves, eh?
Well, we'll probably get to talk to him a little bit more later. Let's go inside this place and see what it's all about. As a lot of you walk into the tavern, you find it's very large. As I said, it's a very large tavern. It's 2 floors. There's a lot of rooms on the second floor. You've been staying here, Italo. And it's kind of quiet. There's a little bit of a fire. There's someone in a corner, playing some music. But it seems very subdued. And as you walk into the place and start looking to find yourselves a table, you are certainly thankful for the warmth of the fire. The food looks good. The people, don't stare at you like you just killed their pet ram or anything like that. And they welcome you into the place. And as you're sort of hovering around trying to find a place, you pick a table that's sort of near the fireplace so that you can keep warm. The innkeeper will approach you. Hey, boys. How's it going? He's a dverg. Also, he's got grayish white hair, a bit of a beard. He's wiping down the mug as he approaches. You guys grab a seat. He's like, you look like about 50 miles of rough road, the lot of you.
You have a keen eye, Master Dvarg. Whatever you've got that is hot, and then whatever you've got that is alcoholic. Diolch.
Could certainly do that for you. What about the rest of yous? He looks at you, Adlug. Milk for you. I remember what happened last time.
Oh, you remember what happens when you give me milk? No, terrible idea. I will take whiskey with a side of milk.
But no more than half a barrel this time.
Whatever you say.
How about you, old man? Addressing Dara.
I don't even know how to respond to that. I think whiskey's be fine, thank you.
All right, and Master Jambi, usual?
Yes, the usual, please.
And Offid asks for a cider, and the innkeep walks away, and Offid says, well, I guess introductions are in order. My name's Offid from the Whisperwood One Rangers. They're in service to the Archdruid. This is my companion, Amoth.
Give a little bow.
And
Sorry, can you repeat that name one last time for me? I didn't quite catch it. Offid?
Yes.
Well met, good sir. I'm Stormcaller Dara Manokmore. This fine man right here is my brother Atla.
Hello. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
Not much of a family resemblance.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
We're twins.
Couldn't you tell?
I can see it now.
Right. And
I don't like this one, Tara.
it's they all see it, everybody sees what they're going to see. It's nothing that we can look. It's fine. Just go with it, all right? Try not to insult them. Gentlemen, based on what we heard outside, it sounds like you're here dealing something with the storms, I imagine.
Well, as you're aware, they're starting to threaten the Whisperwood also, and
I am well aware. I came to you some time ago.
I know. I was about to say we owe you. I was just about to say we owe you for that information. In fact, and it was acting on your information that the Archdruid decided to send me along to see how I can help. Almoth can tell you a little bit more about what he does, but his role here is mostly as someone to record the events. We do place a lot of importance on recording important events for future generations to read about, and Master Amloth is one of our most respected bards. He can tell you a bit more about exactly what his purpose here is.
Amloth's been salivating, just sort of sitting in this room with the smoke and the smell of whiskey and beer and meat and vegetables. So he's been sort of one ear on the conversation, turns around and says, yeah, I'm here more of a listener, really. But if pardon me, Offit, but I don't believe the introductions are fully complete. Master Human, I didn't catch your name.
Looks around. Me? Yes, I am the 13th Idolo Jombi. I come from a land very far away, and I am hoping that my knowledge and wisdom passed on from my ancestors may be able to assist. I have found myself duty-bound to speak with the king and to Morak to try to see if any of my ancestors, and maybe myself, may have any kind of clue to what is going on. It is a pleasure. Bright suns, my friend, to meet you.
Young man, I enjoy your story as much as the next one, but if you're Idolo Jombi, then I'm Magda, daughter of Bron, the giant god of breaking wind. I've met Idolo Jombi, and he's got about 80 years on you. A good man, a great man, and I mean no disrespect to Karth and its residents, but you, my friend, are not Idolo Jombi.
I do appreciate the kind words to my grandfather, but if you, someone who knowed my great, possibly just grandfather, you must have met him a long time ago. I, who just had my namesake ceremony, hope to be as good as an Idolo Jombi as him. And if you are a friend of his, then you are automatically a friend of mine. May I be able to fill his shoes in respect and in memory.
Diolch yn fawr iawn. I did not know the name was passed down. My apologies. Fascinating. I would much cheer to hear of the old man. He was a great and wise figure when I spent time in Karth.
When were you in Karth? Says Alfred.
You don't know everything I've ever done, Offit.
No, apparently not.
More stories to share. Where is that man with our food?
As you say that, Jordan comes back. He's carrying the various mugs and glasses and whatnot, and he sets it down on the table and sort of spreads them around. He goes, I'll be right back with some hot food, and I'll also be bringing with me a very big thank you to Hooli and the Hooligans for the raid into our nice little tavern situation here. Please pull up a chair and have yourself a nice drink. Thank you, Hooli. We appreciate you, and shout out to Insomnia Knight also hanging out with us, and the Creep herself, Darling Creep Show. Thank you so much for coming down and watching our little babblings here. So the innkeeper will bring your drinks, and he said he'll be right back with some food. And as that's going on, often we'll look at Idolo and go, how did you get here from Karth anyways? What brings you here? Are you actually here also for the situation? How did you hear about it? Adrian?
Which one of us were you talking to?
I'm sorry, which one were you referring to?
I was talking to you. I said, yeah.
Oh, I am so sorry. I'd be like, oh, yes. Yes.
See how he pauses, friends.
In my land, there were similar structures, and I've been tasked to, though the ones in my land seem dormant, at any moment they may not be. and I am tasked to find more information about it. Now, we don't have the storms as your lands do, but perhaps some information can be determined to make sure that my land remains safe, and that maybe we can find a way to save the plight upon this land. So I do come here with that primary goal.
That's interesting. What about you two boys? You from around here?
While that conversation has been going on, I think Dara and Atla have been like conversing with one another kind of to the side, being like, that's fucking weird, right? The whole name thing. The 13th.
I like him though. He's very fashionable.
Sure, but it's gotta be fucking weird. How in the hell do you handle family reunions if there's 13 of you?
Well, I don't think they all live. They're not all living. I mean, we inherited our father's name and his father's last name, and
right. But it's variations at least. I mean, the Dara that I'm named after isn't called Dara. He's different. I mean,
some people aren't as clever as us.
I guess so. and that's when Offit chimes in. Right. Sorry. We've been here at the attestation of the king, bringing him in, of course, and as a Stormcaller myself, I have a special affinity with all of these shatter storms and the pillars and all of that sort of thing.
And he looks at Atla. And your specialty, sir?
Paying off a debt, making sure I don't get eclipsed by my younger brother.
His specialty is that he's my brother.
As that's happening, the innkeeper Jordan comes back and he brings you plates of heaping food. You know, the mutton and the bacon and the bread and the cheeses and so on and so forth. And he'll say, "The meat's very fresh. The other stuff are things we had to bring in because." We're pretty much out of stock from our stores from the winter, and nothing's been growing, so it's a little bit of a cheeses are not from around here, unfortunately. And
it's all right, Jordan. It's all right. This is fine. We'll stick to one course for now. We don't have to ruin your stores and go the whole route.
Oh no, don't worry. We've got enough of it. That's not a problem. That's not the problem at all. I just we like to give. We like to provide local stuff when we can, and now we're just sort of forced to rely a little bit on the outside outside help. But these these fruits are from Ashkari lands. They're very good. These look at how plump these grapes are. Look at how plump, and he like holds one up, and it looks a little bit kind of. Well, they're very plump and they're very good indeed.
I don't suppose you managed to get any of Dinara's mince pie.
I couldn't see if there's any left over from yesterday, but it'd be reheated. That'd be okay with you then.
It's fucking delicious the second day, man. I'm telling you.
All right,
appreciate it.
Well, you tuck into this. I'll look for the other stuff. What's going on, anyways? What brings the king out here and such a lovely day as we've got?
It's more business with the storms. They're getting worse, and some of us have been crying about it for some time, trying to get the attention that it deserves, and it's finally getting that attention. Thanks.
Well, you fuckers gonna finally fix them fucking things, or what?
We're gonna try. We're gonna try. Ilmarnin's blessings, of course.
There's there was a woman that came around here, a human woman, a couple months ago, perhaps. She was looking to look into those things, whatever came from that.
I don't really know.
Shouldn't you be all up in this business of the?
This is happening in lots. This is happening in lots of places, and we've only got so many Stormcallers to go around. I can't look at everything. I'll definitely check into it. Can you tell me who she talked to?
She didn't talk to a lot of people. She basically stopped here late at night and got a place, got a warm bed and some food to put in. She was from the south somewhere. Said her name was, I don't rightly recall. it'll come back to me. But she had this weird kind of metallic glove on her left hand, and it was just, that's why she stuck in my memory. It was a little bit sort of, kind of a strange thing that she had going on there. She's asking a lot of questions about local legends surrounding the monoliths and whatnot. I asked if she knew anything about them, but she said that she was here to find out stuff. Apparently she'd come across some information out east about these things and was wondering about them. I did send her over. I did talk to her about Morag and the rest of you lot, but she seemed to be in a bit of a hurry. And she got out of here like the next day. Chop chop. She hasn't been back, and that's why I was sort of wondering what might have happened to her. Oh, Somnus. Claudia Somnus, that was her name.
Interesting. I'll have to ask Moira about that.
All right, well, you do that. In any case, I'm gonna go get you some mincemeat pie. Anybody, anything else while I'm out there?
Whatever you
I
can
mean,
bring, my friend, would be much appreciated.
All right, you should.
Is this rabbit in the pie here?
What else would it be?
Oh, God's bless you, my friend.
Glad you're liking it. If you get a chance, Dara, you might want to talk to Ersaith. She's been up there a lot recently, hunting up in those parts. She might have come across some things of interest to you.
I'll definitely do that. Thank you, sir. Much appreciated. If
And
there's
so-
enough to go around, I think all these gentlemen should be afforded the pleasures of the pie as well.
I'm
He
sure I
kind
can
of
rustle up enough for everyone. The king
Kind of
also
leans
asked for
in
some.
on a double helping for Atlas. He needs a little bit more, beefing up.
He's looking a little pallid. Is he okay?
He's fine. It's just this. He needs to eat more and he needs to drink less. Or if he's going to drink more, he needs to eat a lot more.
He
know
needs
how
a
it
good
goes.
woman or a good man is what he needs. Someone.
I'm
to take
happy
care-
with the pleasures of the pie. That's enough for me.
Yeah, well, that's not going to fucking happen anytime soon, is it, sir?
I think I'm going to open up an inn across the street from this one and call it the pleasures of the pie.
You'd do that to me after all these years?
Of course not. Of course not.
Yeah.
Who the fuck would come and work for you?
That's a
It's
very good
very hard to
goddamn
find
question.
people that come into work these days. Everyone's so fucking lazy. Anyways, I'll be back with the pies.
Aye. Anywho, gentlemen, what
I
is
recommend
it?
chewing, Master Atla. Are you all right?
Yes. Everything's good. I'm just drinking. Went down the wrong pipe.
Happens to the best of us.
As you're...
And-
Sorry, go ahead.
Good.
You good? All right. As you're finishing up your meal, he brings back the meat, the meat pies and more drink, and you've got probably about an hour. We're just sitting there in the warmth, eating and sort of getting to know each other. It's wonderful. It's nice. It's warm. The food's great. The drink's great. It's really kind of lifting up your spirits. The place had felt kind of glum, but in here, and business is picking up a little bit now that it's a little bit later in the afternoon. More people have sort of come in, and the music's picked up a little bit, and it's a very kind of nice environment. And as you're finishing up your meal and your drinks, the king and Morag will return. The other soldiers that came with y'all also come in and take places at the bar and order some drinks, and the king and Morag will come and sit at the table with you. They both look a little concerned. And the king will sit down and go, I hope you fucking bastards left me some of that pie.
If there is any left, Atla's immediately going to try to hide it from the table.
I will spit my pie out back onto my plate.
That's okay, son. That won't be necessary. As the innkeeper comes back with a fresh pie, puts it on the table. I kept this one for you, Lord. You're the best, Jordy. Pulls the pie over. He actually puts a little bib around his neck, grabs a knife and a thing, and he starts to tuck in. and around a mouthful of it, I'll go, yes, right there, you're telling me? And Morag's like, yes, since I know better than to speak with my mouth full, I guess I can lay it out for these gentlemen. Gentlemen, thank you for coming. I know some of you have come on personal errands, and she'll motion to Italo, and some of you have come on errands for your own regions, and she'll motion to the two children. And the other two here at this table, well,
We're just happy to be here,
yeah,
madam.
one has already a vested interest, but she looks at Atla. The other one, we don't know. He's probably working off some prison time or something to that effect. But nevertheless, I want to say thank you for coming here. As Dara might be able to tell you, we've been saying for quite some time that as much as it's been good that we've been able to harness energy from these monoliths and from the shatter storms, and it's been a benefit for us, I fear the cost of doing so may be, unfortunately, coming home to roost, essentially, that there is a bill coming that we may not be able to pay. It seems that the impact, perhaps of our actions, or perhaps it's just the way these things are unfortunately working out, the impact of the storms is, as you know, increasing and becoming much more of a threat. I would like, in my name, in the name of the Stormcallers, and in King Makaivor's name, to ask you if you'd be willing to undertake a short trip, an exploratory trip to the nearest monolith, one that is just north of here. I believe that it is probably the safest one to approach. It seems to harness the power of elemental water, and as such is perhaps a bit less dangerous than the fire one, for example. But it should be approachable, and what we would like you to do, if you're willing, is to try and enter it. We've never really had much success in doing so, but we've never tried really hard. We've sort of kept our distance from them, and what we've been able to do with the rune locks and harnessing the energy of these things didn't require us to be inside. But I firmly believe that if there are any clues to be found as to their provenance or why they're malfunctioning, it would lie inside. And so we would like you to make a determined effort to enter in the monolith here to the north. While I don't know exactly what all your specific skill sets are, I do know that Dara is very, very resourceful, one of our brightest engineers, and I know that Atla, for all his other shortcomings, is also a fairly resourceful Dverg, and I would assume the same of the rest of you, since either your lieges or fate has seen it proper to put you on the path here. So would you be willing to undertake this short exploration for us and attempt to enter the monolith at the north?
Can I look to Offid, and I just want to try and read whether he's surprised by this question, like whether this was a known possibility, or whether he thought we were just here to parley and treaty with the king.
Yeah, he doesn't seem surprised, and he'll say something to that effect. He'll be like, Yarjurida's sent us here to help in any way we can, and if this is the way you feel we may best assist you. We, of course, fear for the sanctity and the safety of our lands, but we also feel for our kind neighbors to the north, and so if we can help, Amoth and I, I'm sure, will be more than happy to assist you in any way we can. She'll look at Adolo. What about you, Master Jambi? I know you came to see me about these things. I do believe that any sort of secrets you might unearth here might help in your own personal quest as well. You have found such a monolith. Is that correct? That's what I've been told.
Yes, there is a monolith in my lands, and you have my full cooperation. is continuing to eat the pie. I will be your troublemaker, and we will find whatever secrets we can, and we will enter this monolith. And rest assured, we will try our hardest, and we will succeed.
Oh, that's fucking excellent. Sorry.
Are you eating forkfuls of the pie you previously spat out?
Why, yes, of course.
Oh, that's fucking excellent. All right. Look, whilst we were talking, Morag and I, some of my fellows went around town asking a little bit of questions. There's a few people you should probably talk to. Some people who have recently been able to gather some information about what's going on up there. Apparently, Girsal, the healer in town, has had interactions with some people who have approached the waters near the monolith and has cured them for certain ailments they brought back with them. So perhaps checking in with her and seeing what can be done or how you could prepare about it would be good. I've also talked to Ulf at the trading post, and I've told him that whatever equipment or gear you think you might need is on the arm here, and I'll take care of it. So you might want to stop by the trading post and get yourselves equipped. I suggest you get yourselves a good night. My accent's fading. I'm getting my mouth's getting. And so you suggest you get yourself a good night's rest, and then in the morning head up there and see what you can do. You were going to say that,
Dara leans over to Atla as the king was saying that and just has a finger pointed straight at him. Don't you fucking do it. Don't you take advantage. You get what you need and nothing more. You got it?
It's not in me bones to take advantage of the king's charity. And he's going to look over at the king directly and say, look, if we do this, you want us to go into a fucking monolith?
If you can.
Crazy. Are we square?
Of course.
Okay.
We'll be squared until you fuck up again.
Look, you won't know about my next fuck up. How about that? And he's gonna take off of his hood, and you all see like a slick bald head with some strange striations on it, like very sickly. And he's gonna kind of get up. He's gonna down his glass and clap his brother on the back and say, "Well, count us in." He's gonna head to the bar.
Yes, my lord.
When does that.
I know, my lord. I'm sorry about that. I really am. But as much as problems as we have with him, he is trying his best, I assure you. And
I know that.
He means it.
I wouldn't have him around.
Heard that.
So. I wouldn't have him around if I didn't think so. Now, you just make sure that he doesn't fucking rob poor Ulf Birdsong completely fucking blind with you.
I'll do everything I can. You know that, my lord.
All right. Hey, Wily Hobbit. Thanks for dropping in. Very kind of you. And with that, you'll spend a little bit more time with the king and with Morag, sort of going over things. She will provide you a map of the area. She'll say that she'll be here in the village going over some of the notes that she's made of some of the new information that she's picked up on her recent trip. And once you come back, you can corroborate and sort of compare notes and whatnot. But she'll give you a map of the area up north and give you some pointers about places to avoid and sort of how to get there. She will tell you that the storms are very frequent around there. They're thankfully water-based. So they're not, as dangerous as motes of earth sort of spinning around in the air and so on and so forth. But that the real sort of danger is with the water in the ground, because the latest reports or the latest sort of information it's got from there is that there appears to be something new in the water, some sort of brackish sort of liquid that has been seeping out of the monolith and has been unfortunately sort of corrupting the area around. Also, she'll tell you that the fauna is being affected by this, and to be careful because some of the animals in the area have undergone strange mutations and have become sort of dangerous. To be very careful also to talk to someone who knows the lay of the land, because the land itself can be kind of treacherous, and to make sure to pack smartly, to bring whatever you want. And to that end, she will tell you that while horses can't go up there because the terrain very quickly turns too dangerous for them, that you can take she's made arrangements with one of the farmers in the village for you, one of the people who raises the rams in the village, for you to take one of the rams, and they're pack rams basically, so they can carry up to 10 items on them. And they're super sure-footed and whatnot. They don't really carry riders, but they will carry gear. So you can, once you go to Ulf's, you can pack up to 10 things that you want on one of these things. And she'll tell you that it's probably about a 2-day trip up to the monolith, so to pack food for a few days. And yeah, do you have questions?
Could you give us that the names of the it was Ulf at the trading post, and then there was a healer you mentioned.
Yeah, so there was Ulf at the trading post you should talk to. There was Gyersal, the healer, and then Herzith, the hunter. I'll write them in the chat here for you if you want. So Herzith.
During our conversations, did anyone mention Claudia Solness again? Someone who's already ventured towards the monolith?
No. No, you can ask about that if you want.
Your Majesty, it seems that from information that I have surmised, that we are not the first one to venture towards this monolith. Could you give us any information regarding Claudia?
I don't know any fucking Claudia. Dara, Marag, do you know anything about this?
I was going to ask Mara about it. It seems that there was a woman that came through here some days back with some kind of metal gloved hand or something or other.
I heard about that. Jordan told me about it. I didn't get to speak to her myself. I heard that she traveled towards one of the monoliths, but she traveled west, so there was no way knowing if she then bifurcated north to go to the water monolith, if she continued on to the other ones, but I haven't seen or heard anything from her. Apparently this was some months ago. I did ask a few questions here and there, and actually, let's do this. Adolo, if you want, give me let's get a roll going here. Give me a... Give me a myths and legends roll. And just so you know, you took awareness twice, so you might be able to go and pick up another.
I did, didn't I? Yeah. And which dice do I roll for this?
So the way you roll in this game is you roll a d20, but you're trying to roll under.
Perfect.
So 1 is a critical success, and a 20 known as a dragon, and a 20 is a critical fail known as a demon.
Okay, let's see. I rolled a 2.
All right, very good. So very good success. In fact, as now you're talking about it, you remember, in fact, hearing about a woman, and the name doesn't sound familiar, but it's the description of the metal glove on the left hand that sort of comes to you. You would have heard Lakenir speak of, Lakenir would have told you about some adventures that he got into in the east of Khartoum in Blight Rock, where the Diavol live, where he and a group of people uncovered an ancient buried temple underneath the volcano there and found out all sorts of stuff. And what had taken him eventually to Ashket, where you met him, was information pertaining to that apparently that monolith was connected to that place that they'd found over in Blight Rock. And you remember him, you now remember him talking about the fact there was a human woman who was in the group with him, who had found in that temple a sort of metallic glove that had given her the ability to interact with the magic of that temple, whatever that ancient sort of culture was. And he would have mentioned that perhaps if ever you managed to meet her or talk to that, since the monolith that you were dealing with was completely unearthed, perhaps that the glove might have been a key for it or something to that effect. And so it's sort of coming back to you now. In fact, I should have thought about it earlier when we were talking about it, but I'm just sort of now realizing you might have made that connection. So as you're talking about it, sort of coming back to you that she'd been mentioned as someone who, might have information, might be interested in those monoliths and that stuff, but you didn't get much more than that about her, except that he had told her she was from the Imperium and was a scientist or a researcher of some sort from there, and that she was sort of now dedicated to looking into these things. So. And yeah, so she'll say, so I really don't know much about that. If you do run into her, if you find any information about her, perhaps bringing her in on this wouldn't be a bad idea. The Imperium's kind of far from here and is probably not threatened by these Shatterstorms, but who knows if they continue to grow exactly where they're going to go. So, all right, I'll leave you to it. I'm super weary myself. I've been on the road for a while, so I'm going to go and get a little bit of rest. If you need anything else from me before you leave, you find me in my home. Otherwise, I'll see you in the morning before you take off. And so she'll take off. The king will finish eating, and he'll say, we're heading back tonight. I'm going to try to get back to Cardiff by tomorrow morning. Dara, of course, you're in charge. Put a bit of stick about if you need to. He looks at the rest of you and kind of gives you a little smile to say that he doesn't think that's going to be necessary. Don't rob Ulf blind. And as soon as you come back from up there and you got anything to report, I'll be glad to know what's going on. We'll send some of your brethren over to the other ones and start seeing if we can get people working on the other ones too, while you guys are checking this one out.
Of course, my lords.
Gentlemen, it's very nice of you to put your lives on the line like this for our people. We do appreciate it and know that you have the thanks of the Highland Varg Nation, and if ever there's anything that me or my people can do for you or for your people, y'all just got to let us know, and we'll make good on our debt to y'all.
We're very grateful for the reception this evening. Noswith my king. While Offit here speaks for the court, Archdruid Laezrin asked me to pass on his personal greetings and to mention that Wildbow will remain a friend of Cardiff for hopefully many, many, many moons more. He asked me to say, may your beard grow long and your lineage longer.
Well, tell her I wish her beard doesn't grow any longer than it already is.
I will pass that on speedily as soon as I am home.
All right. Good luck to y'all. And with that, the king will depart, leaving the lot of you alone here as things are sort of quieting down as the dinner hour has come and gone and people are slowly going back to their homes. You are left, the five of you. And Alfred will say, so should we talk to these people separately, or do you want to just all sort of go together? What's culturally more acceptable here? Is it a gang showing up at the door?
You're fucking awkward, bud. I'm sorry. But I think that somebody should go with you for sure.
My point exactly. How do you want to do this? It's your place. You tell us what we can do for you.
He's going to pull out a bottle that he got from the bar, put it on the table.
I think it might be best if we were to split up a bit and go and talk to people individually. As long as you talk with a care about your tongue, nobody's going to want to cut it out. Despite the reputations of some of us, the Dverg are actually pretty friendly lot.
was trying to scare him, Dara. Come on.
And
Play
you didn't
along.
have. Never mind, my brother, please. Just be nice and be yourself, and you'll be respected for it.
And my friend Amloth here will go with you, Atla. And if you want to make sure that he doesn't get into too much trouble, I'd appreciate it.
I will make sure Amloth does not get into any trouble whatsoever.
Very kind of you, Bach. I am marginally less fucking awkward than my companion here.
All right. That is yet to be seen. I'm not this.
But the night is yet young. Would anyone care to share a pipe before we head out?
I would love to. And he sort of like gets ready for this grand reveal, and he reaches into the folds of his like dark black kind of ragged cloak, and he pulls out this gorgeous, like beautiful briar burl pipe with kind of a long, almost twisted, spirally stem. It's already packed, and he just sort of like looks about for a candle. He gives a good old side eye over to Daryl.
Hi, I'm Dara. This is my brother Atla. This is my other brother Atla.
Daryl's been here the whole time. Just Now that is a thing of beauty, Master Dvarg. As Amleth pulls out a much more sort of, mundane clay pipe, and also pre-filled, and similarly lights it.
Any reactions from Dara on seeing the pipe?
I think in this moment, you have not seen Dara like stop moving throughout the entire time, other than maybe perhaps when the king has been talking. But when the king has not been around, he's always been, taking a drink or eating some food, or just leaning about. And then there's a stark contrast to the moment that when Atla pulls out the pipe, Dara just sits there motionless, staring as if frozen by ice, staring at Atla. You can't really tell an expression other than the fact that he is completely unmoving as he looks at his brother.
Yeah, and aside from that first side-eye glance, Atla's completely ignoring Dara at this point.
Speaking of awkward,
what kind of what kind of leaf do you have? Do you want to trade? Do you want to try my pipe?
I apologize. I have mine pre-packed, and he brings out a little tobacco pouch.
It wouldn't be rosemary, would it?
Ooh, you smoke rosemary?
That's a very specific thing to say, Master Jombie. Why would you say that?
Why is it that I remember this?
Without breaking eye contact, Amleth opens his pouch, and you all get a waft of rosemary-scented tobacco. Well, now, Master Jombie, it seems you have a little more than the name from your great-grandfather himself. Curious. That's something I want to hear more about. You're welcome yourself, Master Atla. Help yourself if you'd like to try. That is from under the canopy of the Sky Orchard itself. It's good stuff, Bach.
Smells like it. He's just going to sprinkle a little bit on top of his sort of the embers in the top of his pipe, just for the aromatics.
and as you smoke away, does Dara eventually partake, or
No,
just stares?
Dara does not. After I think the sprinkling happens, Dara just, without speaking a word, just stands and turns and heads over to the bar.
Ace and deliciousness, thank you so much for following. We appreciate the follow. As you're heading to the bar, Dara, Jordan will be like, "Hey, Derek, come over here, will you?"
He will.
Look, about that lady that was here a few months back. I was sort of holding this, thinking maybe she'd come back at some point, but I'm guessing at this point she might not. If anything, you might run into her before she comes back here. But she left this behind. Perhaps you can make some heads or tails out of it, and perhaps it can be useful to you. And he'll pass you a bit of a scroll. They'll hand over to you. It's bound up tight, and it's got a little string around it.
Is it just the binding of the string? There's just no like seal or anything like that?
Yeah, nothing. It's like a piece of lace, of like shoelace or something.
Yeah.
It's nothing.
Right. Dara will take it and say, in the moment's distraction, find, relief from his emotion, and say, of course, Jordan, it's, I'll take a look into what I can about it.
All right. I hear you're taking off tomorrow. I'll make sure that there's some food at least for the day packed up for you, and that over there. Just remember to ask for it tomorrow morning before you leave.
Of course, could you do me a favor?
Of course.
Do you still have any of those peppers about? I think you know which peppers I'm referring to.
Oh, the dragon's breath.
I
probably have like 4 or 5 dozen.
When you're doing the pack up for Atlas Food, could you do me a favor and insert a couple of the peppers
Say no more.
in
Say no more. Oh, you covered. Say no more.
You're a good man. You're a good man. Thank you much, sir.
Later, and he'll slide you another whiskey on the house. So before we take our break here in a few minutes, how do you plan on going about doing this little research, this little investigation bit? Who is going to go who, where, and who's going with who?
I think Atla and Amloth are smoking buddies now.
Mm-hmm. I'll follow your lead in the morning. Follow your lead. Are we going in the morning or are we going this evening?
It's up to you.
A round of inquiries this evening and then leave on the morrow.
Sounds good to me.
Could you give me that list of names again real quick? I just want to make sure I have it right in my notes here.
In the chat. In the Zoom
Is
chat.
it just the 3 or was there 4?
There's 3.
Because
the 4th one was the one you're talking to. The one you just talked to, Jordan.
Okay.
There's Aersith, the hunter. There's Ulf, Birdsong, the trading post, and Gearsal, the healer.
Okay. I had my notes incorrect, so let me just correct that.
Sorry, go.
I was going to say, I think certainly Dara will go to Aersith, seeing as how he knows them. And I think once Dara is calmed down a bit, comes back to the table, his recommendations might be to send Atla and Amlos to Ulf and Idolo to Gearsal.
Okay.
It's fine by me.
That's totally fine. So let's do that then. Let's take our break right here, right now. Surprising Andy, who is snoring in his chair. Let's take our break here. And when we come back, we will address these little investigations. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We super appreciate each and every one of you as we were just sort of lounging about here, getting to know our characters before we dive into this thing. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for all the follows. Thanks for the raid. Thanks for being cool. Thanks to my players. And we will be back in just 5 short minutes. We'll see you very shortly. in a hot tub. Back on the internet we are. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out. We appreciate all of you. Yes, of course, TCAT. Thanks for hanging out with us. Super appreciate it. TCAT does some awesome painting of minis and figurines over on her channel. You should check it out. Go check her out. Give her a follow. Awesome stuff. We appreciate it very much. We appreciate all of you sticking with us as we are here in the tavern in Kinnacree. It is called the Cavern. We didn't talk about the name of the tavern. It is called the Mountain Shadow Tavern. And before we sort of plunge back in, as our heroes have been tasked by King McIver and Sage Morag to travel to the nearest monolith to investigate and, if possible, perhaps get inside. And they're sort of getting to know each other and looking for a little bit of information. We did sort of skip over a little bit descriptions of the two brothers. And so I'd like to go back a little bit and give you, Miko and Scoozy, a chance to tell us a little bit about your characters. I will put the portraits back up. So who would like to go first?
Go ahead, Scoos.
Yeah, as the tallest and eldest brother.
Right.
Atla is he may in fact be taller than Dara, but his posture is sort of perpetually just a little bit slouched, kind of like a wiry. He has unusually pale skin, kind of milky green eyes, a very short kept, slightly thinner than he would like beard, with a cloak, kind of a broad hood that he keeps up. Usually it takes a couple of drinks before he's comfortable revealing the sort of scarred, bald scalp. There is sort of like a very dark sheath dagger. There's a couple of pouches, some vials. He is quick to smile, but it very rarely touches his eyes, and he coughs every once in a while. I think if you hang out with Atla for any length of time, he speaks at a volume, but it does usually sound slightly forced or strained. But he's sharp. He's quick. A little smarmy.
And his brother, Dara.
Yeah, so Dara is actually the taller one, despite what Atla might think. And despite the fact that they are in fact twins, looks very different. Although, as we've already established, Atla and Dara don't really notice or care about such things. Atla has a voluminous full beard, massive head of hair that he keeps neatly tight and woven back behind his head, wearing what looks to be heavy armor, but the more that you look at it, it seems to be mostly the type of adornment that one would wear if they were trying to be protected from the heavy heat from a forge, with little bits of elemental fragments kind of woven into it. When he is clean, it may not necessarily be easy to tell, except for people that know such thing, but it is very obvious to those types of people that he is a craftsman of many skills. He has a very, very intricate and ornate hammer that he carries at his side. If it ends up in his hand, he's either killing someone with it or he's crafting something with it. The particular hammer itself is made of a powerful and rare mineral known as uru, that is quite strong and resilient, and always has this somewhat sheen-like effect to it, no matter what the light might be in the space. And beneath the folds of the heavy adornment that he wears, you can sometimes catch glimpses of what appears to be a dozen or more different tools hanging from a belt at his hips, mostly seemingly made of petrified wood or some type of other non-metallic substance, as he doesn't carry much metal on him at all, except for in a few different things, like perhaps the book at his hip, which is very intricately displayed and strengthened wholly at its edges in order to prevent any kind of damage from the life of travel and the life in the forge that he lives.
Thank you very much. Did either of Olo or Adrian want to add anything to their characters while we're in the descriptive mode? Or
No, all good for me.
All good here.
all right. So as you finish off your pipes and set off each on your errands, do you, Dara, take a look at the scroll that you were given, or will you save that for later?
I think Dara would save that for privacy. As the way it was implied to him by Jordan, it felt like something that he was keeping private, and something that he would at least keep private as well until he knows what the contents of it are.
All right. So let's see who we'll begin with. We will begin with Amloth and Atla, who are heading over to the trading post. When you arrive at the trading post, you are met by the loud, bellowing laugh of a giant of a man, a Norscring from the northwest land where the humans live a little bit further northwest of here. Ulf Birdsong is in a shop that is very crowded. He's got knickknacks, stuff from everywhere. You can clearly see there's, crates of stuff from the Whisperwood, barrels of stuff from Trust, bags of stuff from Karth, and there's stuff from all over the place. Knickknacks, tools. He's got, a section that's all like camping and mountaineering and whatnot. He's got a whole section of cookware. He's got a whole section of traveling gear. He's got a whole section of weapons and armor. And this guy's shop is where everything that comes in and goes out of the town sort of goes through. And as you walk in, he will welcome you quite heartily and will let you take a look at his stock. He'll let you know that the king has graciously promised payment on whatever you may need to pick up. We've talked about this as a group. Since they won't need this gear tonight, we're going to do the actual shopping off screen in between the two games, because no one wants to see us barter with things. However, while you are there, he will say, if you're planning on going up to the monolith, if you find anything you think might be of interest, I'm certainly interested in looking at anything you buy back that you might want to sell. The kids around here go up and play up there when they can, and they're always bringing back bits and bobs and this and that and the other, and there's always a little interesting stuff. And if you ever come across anything that you might want to part with, I'm certainly interested. There's a lot of these little things, and he'll pull out from under the counter a sort of little peg. It is some sort of blue crystal type. It's not crystal, but it's some sort of clear material like that, and it is exquisitely cut into a sort of peg kind of form. And as he will produce it for you. Let's see what sort of skills you bums possess. Give me... Go ahead and give me awareness rolls, both of you. So you're going to roll a d20, and you want to roll under your skill. Meet or roll under your skill.
Goose, what have you got in this?
I got a demon.
Nice. What? And Alon?
I just rolled a dragon.
Really?
Yeah, I just rolled a nat 1.
Nice.
I've never
So-
celebrated that ever before.
There you go.
That feels very
feels
weird.
weird.
Feeling, yeah.
Yeah,
So as you're looking at this,
and I take a photo of that.
Atla, you see that and you're like, actually, no, I've seen that before. There's an instrument that is not played very often anymore. It's a very old instrument, and people don't play it anymore because it sounded horrible and people just couldn't stand it. They couldn't stand the noise that it was making, so they got rid of it and got bagpipes instead, which were so much more easy on the ear. But it's this sort of weird kind of musical instrument that had like these weird metal prongs, and you would like sort of snap these metal prongs and they would make like this kind of sound, and then people would try to kind of make music with that, and it was terrible. But the whole thing is that these metal bars were held by these little crystalline like that sort of nails that people would sort of put in there and sort of push in to hold these little things, and that's totally what that is. Like this guy got screwed if he gave money for this. Like
It's
you
rubbish.
can probably go into any home here, into some coffee can somewhere, and there's like 10 of these things sort of just lying around. So they were used also for a long time. There was something that kind of caught on for a while, perhaps more in the lowlands. It didn't catch up here as much. But there was this sport that people were inventing where they had like these long sort of sticks with like a little bit of a wooden bit at the bottom, and then they would put these little tiny white balls into the ground and sort of hit them and try to get it into the hole that was way far down the line. And to hold the balls into the ground, they would have these little sort of spikes like that where they would put them into the ground and they would balance the ball on top, and then they would hit it. And whenever they would smash one, they would yell 4, because the whole point was to try and smash 4 of them in one play. So this guy got totally screwed when he bought this. If he paid any money for this, like, he's the worst merchant you've ever seen in your life. Meanwhile, as you see this, you're not a magic user, but you certainly have an affinity for strange things, and you've traveled a lot and you've seen a lot of things. And the first thing you realize is that whatever material this is made out of is nothing you've ever seen before. It is very, very strange. It has a clarity to it that even the nicest diamond can't have. And when you touch it, it feels very strangely like it's made of liquid, but solid liquid. So you can't really explain it, but you kind of pick it up almost as if it feels almost like it's liquid for like just the tiniest bit of the surface, but then it does have tension. So it's just very, very strange, but you can certainly tell that it is very likely magical. And on top of that, as you see it, you just know this is going to be extremely important later on.
I would like to use my intuition at this point. As I hold this thing and feel its threads sort of weaving through a future I'm not entirely sure about yet, do I get the sense that it's important that it stay here, or that it's important it come with us?
It's very important that it goes with you, and that it will allow you to move forward at some point.
I would like to congratulate Ulf. I mean, I know we want to role play through this, but I want to congratulate Ulf on his finding, and to thank both him and the king for providing us with this curio.
Oh, that's not part of the deal, though. No. That's the king said camping equipment, travel gear, but he didn't say anything about these precious artifacts.
I looked at Atla with a sort of, this is awkward. Look, I believe the king said anything that we wanted from your shop Did he not,
did.
Master Atlas?
He did say that. He did say that. And you could certainly part with this rubbish for a bit if my friend here would like to take it with.
But let me tell you this, Master Ulf. I'm an honest man with a strong memory, and I promise your name will be attached to this for as long as I hold it.
I'll make a deal. You bring me back anything of interest to trade for it. And I'll take your word that you will do that, and we'll be square. And he kind of side-eyes Outlaw a little bit. And you kind of get the feeling that maybe he's a little wary of Outlaw. So he tends to kind of move around where Outlaw is somewhere and kind of move things away from Outlaw. Sort of as he's talking, almost absent-mindedly, just moves things away. And then he follows Outlaw and he moves things. I don't know.
I much appreciate it, Master Ulf. You're a wise man. And I promise you this, one day, many, many years from now, you will hear your name in a story you did not know you were a part of.
Oh. That'd be nice. I don't think I've ever had a song sung about me before. Yes, the Saga of Wolfbird song. It's got a ring to it.
That it does, my friend. That it does. And this goes in a pocket as a sort of, give him an.
You're a man of stories. Here, I have something for you. And he'll reach under the counter and they'll pull out a little pack. I saw that Outlaw. Put that back.
He puts his coffee mug back out from the folds of his cloak.
He'll pull like this bundle that's wrapped in kind of oilcloth and open it. You'll see like a bunch of books in there. And he's like, yeah, this one's good. And he'll pull it down. And he's like, back where I come from, the Skalds are very enamored of stories, and we tell tales. We call them sagas. And here, and he'll hand you a book. It's like, these are some of the rarer ones that are not told as much these days, but perhaps you can make some good use of it and spread them around. I think they'd be much better out into the world than lying here under my desk. So please, I'd like you to have this. And he hands you the book over.
I am very grateful. I promise to add a little more color to the world with what you've just given me. Diolch. Thank you.
I appreciate that. I appreciate it. Shake your hand. They'll tell Outlaw to put that back. And we will handle the shopping offline so as not to bore our audience to tears. So after that, you will head back to the inn to finish off your evening, perhaps smoking a couple more pipes. Meanwhile, Adolo and Uffid, you are off to meet Gyersal. You get directions to Gyearsal's home, and she lives in a small house just a little bit removed from the village, kind of in the forest a little bit. When you approach, you find a Ashkari woman who is busy tending to plants and herbs and stuff like that she's got. She's got like a little glass house that's built just sort of as a lean-to to her little home. And inside of there, she's got like various flowers and herbs, all sorts of stuff that she's managed to sort of, keep alive through the winter and keep growing. And as you approach, she'll sort of see you through the window of the glass house and ask you in. She's not super talkative, but fairly pleasant. Anyways, while you're there, someone will come in with an injury they just sustained. They were trying to plow the land, but as it turns out, it's a little too frozen, and they sort of wrenched their back out trying to push the plow into this frozen ground. And she'll treat them very very tenderly and with a lot of care, and she will give them something to drink for the pain, and then she will sort of massage them and move, and then eventually you'll hear like a crunch sound as she'll pull on the arm, and like, the dwarf will, oh, that did it. That did the job. Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, I love that. It's almost worth getting injured just to come here and get that done. Oh, appreciate it. And they'll leave some coins. She's got this little mug, like an ancient mug of tea, and you will recognize it, Adolo, as being a type of mug that is fashioned like this sort of baked earth type of ware that is common in Karth. And they'll leave, a few coins in there for her. And as you are talking and telling her where you're going and all of this, she will tell you that she recently, the kids are always going up there, sort of playing around. They don't usually get too close, but that recently a few of them were there and they went into the water. They saw that there was something weird happening with the water, some sort of blackness, almost kind of like oil maybe, that was sort of seeping around over it, and they got kind of curious, and one of them fell, and while they were there they were attacked by some sort of lamprey type fish that was in the water that bit them. And she'll show you a drawing that she made of the bite. It looks like the circular sort of bite mark with like several rows of serrated teeth. She'll tell you there's no such animal as that around here. No one knows what they are. She's gone around to talk to the fishermen and some of the hunters and people, bushcraftmen in the area, and no one has ever seen anything like that. So whatever's in that water is new.
Okay.
But she will tell you that the thing that was the strangest is that it appeared she treated the wounds, but as she was treating them, she realized that it appeared that in biting, these creatures also lay eggs under the skin.
Gross. Sorry.
And how were the children affected long term?
Long term, not too bad. When she saw what the situation was, she realized that the best way to treat it was with burning iron in the wound. And then after some trial and error, she discovered that there was an unguent that she could make with a plant called brightleaf that seemed to have the desired effect of preventing the wounds from festering and making sure that they were cleaned out and healed properly, and that over time they healed sort of normally like normal bites would be. But very important to make sure to, if you do get bitten by one of these things, to go and get that. And she will give you both a little bag of brightleaf as well as a little sealed jar of unguent, and you will have 10 applications of it to carry with you. And then with the brightleaf, she'll say that she'll show you how to do it. You mash them and she'll tell you the other little sort of ingredients to put into it. The brightleaf is very interesting because when you hold up, they're actually leaves, and when you pick them up and hold them up, they sort of shimmer in the light, almost as if they're made of tin foil or something like that. Like they really kind of reflect the light, and then you realize that the light's coming from the plant themselves and it's not being reflected. She'll say that it's very difficult to grow it, so she doesn't have a ton of it, so she's warned people not to go and play in that water, but since you're going out there sort of selflessly, she'll give you some in case you need to make some more of this stuff. And she'll tell you that these lampreys are apparently very difficult to see because although once they have bitten you, apparently they turn a sort of bright red. They're almost impossible to see until they bite you.
And this particular village, this small town, has been alerted that the water is contaminated.
Yep. And she'll say that they've had evidence before of the fauna and the flora being contaminated around there, but that this is something.
Did she happen to have any of that water available? Like, did she keep any of it, like in a jar?
No, but if you go up there, you're going to find more than you care to find.
Well, we hope to find a remedy to this toxic malady that has come upon the water, and hopefully, as we get to the monolith, hopefully we can find some answers there.
Any specimens you can bring me back of plants or even animals or water, or perhaps even mineral that you see that you think might be of interest, if you can bring them back, I can try to see what I can discover with them.
Did the children have any ailment from drinking the water? I'm sure if they fell in, some of it got with them.
Not that I noticed. They did run fever and so on and so forth, which I assume were from the bite. I guess it's possible it could have been from ingesting the water. They didn't have any symptoms that I would specifically have assigned to drinking the water, but they had a variety of symptoms due to the bite. So some of them might have been from both or from the water, but I mostly assume that they came from the bite. I certainly wouldn't advise drinking it if it's doing this to the fish. she shows you the teeth.
Duly noted.
Welcome to the Highlands. Do you have other questions for her?
Are there any other healing waters that you may be able to basically eat a little ago? Do you have any healing waters that may help someone who looks very pale? Any healing ailments? Maybe pale green eyes.
Oh,
very
Atla, I
weathered.
don't think there's anything that can heal Atla.
Hmm.
I did try. He came to me perhaps last year, terrible saddle sores that he had, and he came to me to get some unguent for relief. And while he was here, I did try to perhaps try to sort out exactly what could be done for him. I feel that Atlas' condition is perhaps not as physical as we might believe it to be, that it probably stems from something in his soul that is sort of poisoning the outside. So I think that
How fascinating.
a hug perhaps.
A hug?
Yeah.
Well, I have here prescription for one hug. I will be sure to give my traveling companion a nice big hug. If you think it will help.
Well, if nothing else, it'll make him feel better. He is a little warmth and kindness. It usually goes a long way to help the troubled souls.
So I hear.
Oh, she'll give you another little jar. Here, you can give him this if he's still got those saddle sores.
Very good. Anything else? If you were going to be traveling for 2 days, what things would you take? And then whatever she wants, I will take.
All right, so she'll give you like a bunch of different little potions and unguent and stuff for like some of the more common, ailments and things like that that are around here. And she'll give you the equivalent to 2 healing potions on top of that, so that you can bring that with you. If you want, you can look at the gear page and figure out exactly what they do. I think it's 2d4 or something like that, or 2d6. Anyways, so she'll give you the equivalent of 2 of those, and she'll say that use these wisely.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kibi, for the follow. We appreciate you very much. Thank you. Moving on then, Dara, you go out to the edge of the water where you find Ersith busy cleaning some of her recent kills of the day. She's got a bit of small game, a few jackrabbits or something that she's on the other side of the water cutting and sort of cleaning out as you approach her. You've met her before, and you know that she's an older dverg. She's like, into her 60s. She's a bit grumpy most of the time, but you know that she, she's a good hunter and she knows the area around fairly well. And when you approach, she'll kind of just sort of side-eye you and go, well, I ain't got the face of someone coming to help me clean these things, so what do you want?
Hello again, Arsith. I'm here to talk about some of the news of things lately that have been going on. A few folk in town have said you're the woman that I need to speak to.
You went up to the monolith, are you?
I have to every time I come in town. You know that.
You make yourself useful and start up that fire so I can smoke these fish. This meat, sorry.
Dara just reaches down, puts a hand on the book at his hip, and then closes his eyes and snaps a finger, and it alights.
And as she's talking to you and she's filleting these things, she'll put them up to smoke over the fire that you've just lit. She'll tell you that she'll tell you a few things. One, she'll tell you the ground is very treacherous. There are a lot of dry spots that are in fact floating bits of earth, if earth floats. The water's depth changes constantly. You need to be able to test the ground ahead of you because there's literally no way. It may look like a very solid, nice little piece of land, and you'll step on it and it's like that thick, and you just go through it, and the water underneath could be 12, 15, 20 feet deep. It's super treacherous. So definitely you need something to take soundings as you go along. She'll tell you that there are weird spores and a sort of blackish moss that grows now around the area, on the rocks even, and everywhere on that area. She'll say that you need to have some medicine ready, that Gyarsal certainly might be able to provide you. She said it's something that she makes with something called Demon Lash Sprig works. And when you talk to Idolo, he'll say that she in fact gave him some of this stuff to take care of any contacts with the spores and the moss. Finally, she'll tell you that the most recent development, something that hadn't been seen before, that she and one of the other hunters saw from afar, there appear to be strange creatures now that lurk around the monolith. She'll say they kind of look like Waldron a little bit, but have bluish skin, and they seem to be they are clothed, they have weapons, but they seem to be very primitive almost in the way they move and the way they conduct themselves with each other and the way they speak. She will say that they seem to move in and out of the monolith. So there appears to be an entrance somewhere to the north side of the monolith. She herself has spotted 2 or 3 of these creatures in the area. And that you should be wary and aware of them. That there are armed creatures there beyond just the fauna and so on and so forth.
Great. I don't think he presses her for more than what she's willing to say there. Dara's not really that type. But despite what she talked about earlier, he does spend some time sitting with her and helping her in little things as she's talking and whatnot.
And you know she appreciates it. She'll put on some tea and we'll have some with you. And even though she's always kind of gruff, you know that she appreciates it. And so you have a bit of a good chat with her. And
yep.
Later on, you will find yourselves back at the inn. I assume sharing your discoveries of the day. Yep. Anything specific you want to bring up to the group or sort of cover, or do you want to turn in for the night, or
I think once Dara sees Amloth and Ophid, he gets like very serious in contemplation for a bit before bringing up to them. Do Wildren have any particular kin that have a sort of blue skin by chance?
You Wildren kin. And I look at
Aye.
I look at Ophid.
I look at my GM.
I look exactly. I assume that's nothing I've ever heard of before.
Well, some of the Eldrin are kin. The Eldrin live further to the south in the Magisterium. Some of them have more colorful skin. They tend to. Some of them have gray skin. Some of them have.
But that's grayer.
Yeah,
right?
But some of them still have bluish skin.
Oh, okay, so I would be able to put 2 and 2 together about that.
But
as a decent guess.
Yeah.
I look at Ophid and say, in Wildren, if our cousins are providing a problem for Dwarg children, that's on us to sort out.
And he'll answer back to you. I honestly don't think that any of those precious fucks would be up here living in the wilderness. You know how they are, and from what you know of the Eldrin, like they're comfort city creatures. Like there's this whole description of them as kind of more primitive and all. Like you know that there are Eldrin who have bluish skin, but this doesn't strike you as being probably that same thing. Although unless it's a kind of different strand or something.
I'm as surprised as you are, but these are the days of strange things.
Aye. Indeed. They'll turn to you and Alfred will say, there are Eldrin who possess such skin, but the ones who do are the ones from the Magisterium who have been under the effects of the Well of Eternity for a very long time, which has heightened the magic in their cities, and we surmise the reason why many of them are born with more colorful skin and hair than we normally have, and I somehow doubt that they would find themselves up here living in some monolith, brandishing spears and wearing loincloths or whatever it is that they're doing up there. It's just not their style. I mean, they had the Well of Eternity until it was broken a couple of sagas ago by Scoozy's character.
Well, it's just something that we should be careful of, I think.
We can agree on that.
Well, it is definitely interesting to know that there are sentient creatures up there.
Potentially some dangers, so just something to be mindful of in the moment. So they'll also tell you they got, that thing for the spores and all that she'd already provided that and all that. Anything else you guys want to chit-chat about?
I've acquired some healing potions and some leaves that will help us for our journey. As Idilo walks closer, we'll tap Atla and kind of put his arm around his shoulder, and we'll use my skill sleight of hand to pass him the ointment secretly, because as we travel, I'm sure that we will want to be as comfortable as possible. Hand him the saddle sore ointment, and I try to make it as discreet as possible, and just being kind of like, there you are. And then approach the table and be like, I'm sure we're ready for our quest, and I look forward to venturing with you all in the morning. And then I'll sit down, put my feet on the table, and smell the pipe that's all around me.
No star, friends. Ulf's given me a little bit of bedtime reading. See you in the morn.
Anything specific anyone wants to do before they turn in?
Atla is... I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Atla's going to, as everybody winds down, is going to head outside and actually try to steal some fur, and is going to climb on top of the tavern and just sort of in the shadow of the eaves. It's not going to sleep. It's just going to sit up and sort of think. He has heard quite a lot of this water monolith today. It has gotten under his skin a little bit.
Okay.
So he's going to brood like the edgelord character in this party. Absolutely.
Nice. Emo.
Dara's going to sit down with the scroll too, by the way.
When you open the scroll and you check it out, you can't really make heads or tails of it too much at first, but if you go ahead and give me a languages roll. Which do you have languages?
I do not.
No, then go ahead and give me a roll on your elementalism.
Okay, that I can do. That is an 8. Awesome. I have a 14 elementalism.
So as you read it, you see some of the letters and things start to shift, and you realize there's some sort of magical protection over it. But as it's kind of coming into place, you realize that it appears to be she was working on breaking a cipher. So it's almost like she was trying to figure out what certain symbols and whatnot meant. Thank you, Serpentor, for the following. I always wanted to be followed by Serpentor. Thank you so much. And you get the she was working on some sort of code break for a cipher. And what this thing will do is that if you encounter this language or this code at any point in time, it will give you a +2 bonus on rolls to try and decipher it, on languages rolls to try and decipher it, as you already have kind of part of the code break.
Excellent.
Anything else?
Not for me.
You retire to very warm, very comfortable beds. Lay your head down. Your packs all ready to go for the next morning. Perhaps some of you are finding it difficult to go to bed as you're feeling the excitement of this adventure that you're about to embark on the next morning. Some of you perhaps are older hands and don't care too much and are fast asleep, getting in as much kip as you can before the morning comes. Atla, at some point, you must have dozed off, and unfortunately, someone must have spotted you where you are as you receive something hits you in the face. Something that's kind of soft and spongy and kind of black hits you and kind of drags you from whatever deep thoughts you were in. And as you kind of shake and check it, there's mud on your face. And you smell like something burning, and then you hear the sound of very heavy things kind of falling and hitting things all around, and another bit of mud kind of comes and hits where you are, and you're hearing it hit on top of the eaves. And as you kind of lean forward and check, you can see this giant whirlwind that is slowly moving into the town, and you can see motes of fire, motes of dirt that are just being flung around as if this is some sort, I'm very sorry, Adrian, some sort of tornado that is blowing through, but the sky is of this incredibly weird red purplish color, and there's, you can see like lightning splashing through it. You've seen a shatterstorm before, and you know that this is a shatterstorm, and it's moving in right on top of the city, and you can see motes of fire shooting out and hitting the houses, and fire starts to spread throughout the city, the village, and people start screaming fire, fire, and the alarm bell goes off. And as you're kind of moving, and the rest of you in bed hear the clanging of metal bells ringing, and you hear the sound of fire, and as you wake up, you can hear hitting on the roof these really loud thuds hitting the roof over your head. What do you do?
Just Atla or all of us?
Atla's gonna flip the fur under so the hide is up, and then like sort of try to slide off of this roof with all of his stuff as much as possible and get back to his brother.
Not a problem. As you slide off, you can see people coming out of houses. They're trying to like get some sort of lines to the well going to start put out the fire, but there's like rocks and earth and bits of mud that are just being flung everywhere. There's huge gusts of wind that are coming in. There's this sheet of rain that you can see just off in the distance that is moving almost like a curtain towards the city. And something you've never seen in a shatterstorm before, the ground underneath you is starting to crack, and you can see earth lifting from the ground and rising up into the air and start getting caught in these whirlwinds and start being flung around. And you can see water starting to erupt out of some of these cracks. Sort of the well itself, as they're pulling water out of it, the well starts to overflow. But once it overflows, it's fire that's coming out of it and mud. And this mud is just sort of on fire also as it's kind of rolling. And it's just pure total chaos outside. Let's do a quick run around. What are you doing, Atla?
Atla's gonna clock the wall of rain and see that it will probably, unless there's, can't worry about it. It's got to get inside. Is gonna run in the front door of the tavern and like run up towards where everybody is sleeping, or do a quick scan to see if nerds are still reading their books in the common room, or if they've moved
They've gone
a
to
room.
bed. It's like about 3 a.m. by this point. It's very late.
Yeah, so he's gonna go run up and just start banging on all of the doors down the hallway.
Dara, what do? You are awakened by the sounds of the bells and the sounds of heavy things hitting the roof right above you. And as soon as you wake up, your senses tingle, and you're so used to shatter storms, you can feel it. The hair is rising on your arm, and you can feel it in the air much more so than anybody else that's there. And it's a massive one, and it is loaded like you've rarely felt something this intense before.
Yeah, Dara is instantly awake as he takes in this information. Like, emotions just leave. It's all about calculations at this point. And he just reaches down and picks up Skyforger, his hammer, grabs his pack that carries his rune locks, and immediately just bolts for the door. As he opens it, he sees the hallway, sees Atla in the hallway, and just gives him a nod, that silent knowing that the two of them have between each other, and then immediately starts heading downstairs, and then runs through in his mind the most well-structured building here in the village, probably one that he even helped to build, and that's his destination, and that's what he intends to do, is yelling at everyone that he sees to get to that building.
All right, so you start heading out, yelling for everyone to make their way, and I will say that the most the best built building, I mean, I don't know what kind of building you want, but there would probably be like some sort of grain silo that would be made of stone somewhere in the middle that would be pretty solidly built. Otherwise, there would be this inn would be one of the best ones also. So up to you to decide what you want to do with that. Adolo.
Idillo will open his eyes, hear the commotion, rise slowly, grab his staff, open the door, see the commotion outside, and will slowly walk down the stairs, getting his bearings. Everything to him kind of reveals itself as rhythms to him. So just even the chaos and the panic itself has a rhythm, and he's trying to kind of keep his mind calm and keen as to where the safest place is. And as he approaches the front door, it will look, and if people are running around, kind of surmising, trying to assist, is the safest place in the tavern or in a different location? That's what he's trying to surmise.
Okay, so Dara is outside, and he's probably telling people that this place is the place that is most certainly built. It's the biggest one. It's probably one of the ones that, and it's got a foundation made of stone. But as that's happening, can you give me a mentalism roll, please? I want to remind you guys also, all of you start every game with basically one inspiration point, an advantage point rather, that I would call, that allows you to add an extra dice to one of your rolls. Miko, I believe, got one earlier from Pixie Lady, so you have an extra one kicking around. The chat can certainly bid bits and get you some more points, but you each have at least one right now in your pockets for whenever you feel like using them.
And in this system, is that just a reroll?
It's an extra dice. You get an advantage, and you take the one you want. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
Well, I rolled my mentalism and got 14, which is my skill.
All right. As you're sort of reaching out and kind of trying to get a sense, extending your senses, and try to getting a sense of making sense of the chaos, you hear something that at first you take to be like the wind howling or something, but then it picks up in intensity, and you realize it's in your head, and you realize there's a psychic scream that is happening. There is something that is in intense pain, and it is screaming and crying out, and now you can almost hear it reverberating outside also physically, but it's cutting through your mind, and the level of intensity to this pain is like a spike being driven right into your brain as this thing screams in intense agony, and you can feel that there's something approaching the town, that this thing that's in agony is approaching the town and is in such a state that it's just looking to lash out.
Idillo will kind of lean up and nearly fall down at the opening of the door, just gripping his head and just like, get inside. Get inside. Ugh. And he will just stumble back.
And as that's going on, you're awoken off by who's like, wake up, something's going on. And you can hear that son I was describing, you can smell burning, and he's at the window and he's like, the entire place is burning. Come on, let's go. And he runs out the door. What do you do?
Follow immediately. Just a situation like this, all ego goes out the window, so I suspect Amloth would come downstairs, spot Dara as having the best grip on what's going on, and run up and say, Master Dara, what do you need? You know these people in this place better than we.
Keep everyone inside that you can. If you see anyone outside, get them in here as quickly as you can, or yell at them to get to the silos. And you can see that Dara is heading immediately outside.
That will do. And Amloth runs outside as well and starts ferrying anyone into the night, and trying to grab anyone he can who's lagging behind.
Atla, your brother seen you. He runs outside.
Now that made the rounds, everybody's awake. Is going to come back outside. And so Atlas experienced Shatterstorms before. Is it typical for there to be this many elements involved in a Shatterstorm?
All four, no. It's very rare. It's been known. It's totally been known. It's usually one, whichever monolith is closest. Usually, it's been known to have two. So whatever other element would be adjacent to that one, oftentimes. Sure. But to have the opposite element, that's very, very rarely seen. Yeah. And to have them all together at this intensity, is not something that has been seen.
Okay, and he in his history has mocked Dara religiously for studying these things.
Yes,
but very, very acutely been paying attention. So I think Atla is going to. He's kind of scary looking, especially in a storm like this. He's not really going to go out and try to usher people into the things. He's going to sort of hang back by the entrance and just kind of watch really, really closely at this storm and what's going on with it.
And it'll, after you fall out of your room, clutching your head, telling everyone to stay inside, you see a bunch of these guys running outside. You see Atla at the door, standing out. What do you do?
Regain my composure. Slowly, get to the main door and just kind of peer outside. Is there anyone that is out of reach, or someone who isn't running towards the building that may be confused or lost or kind of?
Yeah, there's definitely most of the people now are picking up on Amloth and Dara being outside and sort of telling them what to do in Toronto. I think so. Most people are coming here, but you can certainly see in some of the other homes, people are not willing to get out of their houses, or some people sort of seem lost for sure.
Anyone outside that seems lost, or as long as they're in a structure, I'm sure they're better than being outside.
There's you would see a few people but there's people outside trying to put out fires, and
Gotcha.
They're ignoring Dara. They're trying to put out some fires and whatnot. The fires are burning super intensely. The stables is almost burned to the ground already. The people are just trying to get the rest of the horses out, and a couple of the other buildings around it are burning. That this fire is definitely magical fire. It's burning through.
So Dara immediately is assessing every situation that he can get his eyes on, but he's very, very focused on the storm. And all of you will hear very, very prominently as he curses, "A fucking Uruk storm." Turns to Atla. "Atla, I don't care what you have to do. Scare these people inside if you have to. It's either here or the silo. It's the only way anyone's going to fucking survive. The rest of you, I don't know what kind of magic you have, but if you have any, come with me now. And if you don't, help Atla." And Dara is just going to run straight into the heart of the storm.
And as you do that, and some of you follow and some of you are trying to help people, everyone who's got it, actually, you can always all make a test if you want. You just better if you have it, but if you have awareness, give me an awareness roll, everyone.
Don't make it 15 instead of a 12.
Okay. Everybody else?
Got a 4.
5.
All right.
3.
So everyone except Unloth, as you're running out and trying to help, you hear this piercing cry that is coming in from the other side of where the stables is, and there's this cry of pain, like some wounded animal. Like imagine like, you know, a deer or something like caught in a trap, just like letting out this incredibly baleful cry, but multiplied by like 100. And as you come around the corner and sort of look at where this scream is coming from, you see coming out of the forest behind the village, this creature that is around 10, 11 feet tall, has the horns, the woods of like 2 or 3 different types of stags just sort of emanating from all sides of its head. The face and chest are bony, with like almost no skin left on it. There's clothes hanging in fucking rags sort of all over it, and the arms are on fire. This creature's arms are on fire, the clothes are catching on fire, the pain and craziness in its eyes as like the pain from the fire that has caught on to them is just driving them mad, and they're running into town, and everything they hit, everything they touch is just going up in flames. They seem mad with rage and pain, and there's a few people that kind of step up to try and stop them, and this thing just bats them away, charring them as it does so, and it emits again this psychic scream that just resonates throughout the entire place. Anyone have beast lore?
Yes.
If you have beast lore, go ahead and roll.
I didn't see it coming though. Am I in a different part of town?
So yeah, no,
I'm getting civilians inside. I've been arguing.
Yeah,
with
and then you hear kind of
woman.
this scream, and you see these guys sort of looking over at some business. Let us.
Casual business.
Yeah.
Now this creature is attacking the civilians, the villagers.
But it's kind of like it doesn't even really seem to know what it's doing. It just seems to be in like pain and sort of just lashing out kind of thing.
Kind of like attacking recklessly without purpose.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll say that you guys are here. You're trying to help some people. You were up ahead.
Is it moving with the direction of the storm?
No,
is it just kind of another separate fun thing that we get to deal with in addition to the storm?
Just another fun thing that you get to.
Cool.
It looks okay. So what it looks like is that this thing, whatever it is, it's coming in the same direction from the storm, but it looks like it probably got caught in the storm, and it's trying to get away from it. And so, since the path of the storm is here, it's kind of moving in to this now, as the majority of storm is kind of still behind it. But it looks like it got caught in it, like its arms and part of its body being in flames certainly would speak to that. Let's do an initiative and then see what you wish to do. I don't think anyone has any powers related to initiative. There's some powers. No one took that. Okay. So I'm going to go in order that I see you on my screen. We got a 7 for Dara. We have a 2 for Atla. We have an 8 for Dolo. We have a 9 for Amloth. We have a 10 for Ophid. And we have a 6 for the creature. So a 2, Atla.
Fuck. You just hear Atla just cursing. Like, we had all just sort of made this plan to go and rescue the villagers, and then this thing comes out. And so Atla was getting ready and had dropped his hood and got his like scary creepy game face on, and is now like fuck. There's at a glance, not a glance. Yeah. Fuck, There is something. There is something in the chaos of this creature that is arresting Atla just for a moment. Can he get a read on whether this creature is intentionally causing this destruction?
No, like I said, this creature just seems to be in like
it's just wanton
pain, just madness,
chaos.
and it's just like trying to get away from the storm, and it just fell on the village, and now it's just going crazy.
Gotcha. Does it look like we could put out those fires on it?
The storm is still ongoing, so you'd be putting them out in it,
Yeah. Okay. Atla's gonna turn. Are we? We're all here. Okay. Atla's gonna turn to Dara and just say, "If we can hold it, that rain is coming."
Good eye. Do whatever it takes.
And Atla can't go toe to toe those things. So he's gonna slink into the shadows that are being cast by some of the fire, and just sort of like hide there for a moment.
Okay. Just so we understand the zones here, so the middle of the map will be a zone cut out. So you guys are all in the zone with this creature, so you can move anywhere you want within this zone and do your actions. You, Amoth, will have to cross into this zone, so your first action will have to be movement so that you can cross into it. Although you can, if you have range, stay at long range and act from there if you want. But if you want to move into the zone, it'll be an action. But once you're in the zone, you can go wherever you want.
Sure.
At 6, then it will be the creature who continues to advance, and right now it's just sort of hitting things left, right, and center. There are other people that are kind of scattering about. This right here is the well where people were trying to get water to get to put out the fires. So this creature is sort of advancing, and it hasn't really spotted any of you yet. So it's not kind of moving on you, and there's still other people that are kind of scrambling around. So it'll sort of pretty much stay in that area and just kind of crazily kind of be lashing out. And as it lashes out with its arms that are wreathed and inflamed, like these shots of flames just sort of fly off everywhere and hit the different homes and things around you. People are trying to scatter to get away from it. She's already killed a few villagers. And she continues sort of a rampage like this. At 7, it'll be Dara.
Right. I'm assuming that we don't have any storm shield pillars nearby, right?
No, they would be further outside of town. Like
Right.
they would be spread
Okay.
out sort of area.
Yeah.
This
Yep,
place
yep,
would
yep.
certainly have them, but they'd be a bit further out.
Sure. Dara is going to curse once again, reach into his pouch and pull out one of his rune locks, and immediately throw up or start invoking through the elemental energies released by it a elemental protection ward.
Okay. So describe what this thing is and what it looks like and what happens when you do this.
Yeah, so the rune lock itself is almost like a stone-shaped or a crystalline-shaped stone device with a number of intricate runes carved all over it, and it seems to almost just pulse with chaos within it, as if it literally contains the energy of a shatterstorm. Dara, completely forgot my character's name there. Dara essentially just holds it out like in one large meaty fist in front of him, and holding Skyforger in the other hand. He basically cracks Skyforger into the side of it, and it doesn't break the device. It's just the impact of the two together causes the invoked Shatterstorm within to just start releasing some of this chaotic energy. And being a Stormcaller that he is, Dara just immediately is able to grab hold of the energy and start shaping it. And starts weaving it into this like protective barrier around. And Christian, the description that you had sent me says anyone within 20 feet. Is that basically just a zone? Is that what we're
anyone within the zone,
attributing?
basically, yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So basically, everybody that is within the zone around has advantage on rolls to resist damage. In this case, of fire.
So you all feel suddenly as this energy is sort of wafting through and going through you. You feel suddenly the heat around you lessens considerably, and even when you get some of the little bits of fire that are falling from the sky on you, like it'll sort of ignite a little bit your clothes, but you really won't feel much more than a bit of a discomfort from it, whereas before it was really stinging and sort of charring you. So you will all get, whenever you're resisting fire damage, you'll get an extra dice, and pick the best one of the two. All right. Are you moving anywhere? Or are you staying where you are, Dara?
I'm staying where I am.
All right. At 9, at 8, sorry, it would be Adolo John B.
All right. Well, I will hold my staff and I will just start tapping the ground with it, kind of getting a nice steady rhythm. And about the creature, is the creature's arms on fire or are they emitting fire? Like, are they like, oh my gosh, my arms are on fire? Or are they like, I am a creature that has fire for arms?
No, they are, oh my gosh, my arms are on fire, but the magical nature of the fire is kind of acting of its own volition here. So this thing is on fire and it's not controlling it, but the fire itself is spreading itself out, almost kind of like
Gotcha.
it's got, it's being controlled or something, but it's clearly not being controlled by the creature. The creature is just like, holy fuck, my arms are on fire, fucking help.
Okay. And it is running towards us and like waving its arms at people. And
yeah, it's eventually going to head this way. You can move around if you want or whatever, but it's definitely kind of blind with pain and madness, and it's just...
Okay. Well, for right now, I will just slightly move. I'm going to move here. And I will delay my action. I will just move and just kind of just keep tapping my staff as the my little headdress. There's a little stone that's beginning to glow as I'm just keep tapping the ground with my staff and waiting for the exact moment to strike.
All
So I
right.
will wait.
Amloth, you definitely hear a bunch of screaming. You feel this sort of expenditure of energy, this explosion of energy that sort of rings out, and there's clearly something going on. You're not in the zone to be protected yet, so the heat, you're fortunately, as you can see on the map, not where there's too much fire yet, so you're still okay, but you definitely hear something is happening behind you around the building.
Copy that. Did I get enough sleep to get my willpower back?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So I think, I would, hearing the commotion, Amloth would just dash back around the building. And is that space, Dara, is that sort of zone you've created, is that something I can pass through and enter?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And as soon as you enter it, you start being protected by it.
Okay.
It's basically anyone within one zone of me
Got it.
gets the benefit.
So yeah, I think Amloth hoofs it round the corner, accidentally runs into this zone, sees what's going on. It's just like, by the Mabinogi, Master Dara, is that common up here? Your storms are looking somewhat different to those further down south.
It's an Uruk storm. We'll have to deal with it quickly.
And if that's all I can do, then I'll run in.
You're going to move in all the way to the zone?
Yeah.
Awesome. I didn't want to say this is a map by Animated Dungeon Maps. The map we saw earlier, the Tavern, was by Solution Maps, the Solution Fantasy Maps. And this one is by Animated Dungeon Maps. It's not animated because we're using Owlbear, but they do make animated maps. All right. That was at 9. At 10, Offit will come around, and he's got his longbow out, and he kind of looks at Dara and he goes, do I shoot this thing? What do I do?
Can shoot it.
He hauls back, fires. His arrow hits right into the creature. The creature kind of screams with pain, and then kind of sees him and sort of focuses on him and starts running in that direction. The scream What's your type of magic, Miko?
Elementalism.
Okay, so mentalism is just that scream is both on the physical world and in the sort of in the psychic level. So you hear it inside your brain and you hear it on the outside. So this creature clearly has some kinds of power. And at 10, so off it shoots it. Then we're back up to 2, which is Atla.
Is nobody's in melee range of this creature yet?
Not yet, no.
Yeah.
You can hold your
Cool.
action if you want.
I am absolutely going to do that. What I'm trying to do now is be as hidden as possible, and I am looking for. It is still dark out, even though things are on fire. What I'm looking for is places of shadow.
Right. So you can. What you could do if you wanted, if you can see here, this building's on fire, but the front sort of corner of it seems to be okay. You could probably kind of get under here and then pop out over here if you wanted to do that.
Sure. I think I'm gonna hold that though.
Okay.
I don't think I want to get up in its face right now.
But that's one avenue that you have.
Cool.
All right, so you're holding your action. I'll put your card on the side so that we know. At 6, this thing is going to go, and it charges right away towards Offid. For those of you new to the Dragonbane system, something you need to know is that bad guys hit automatically. If they're using weapons or sort of natural claws or swords, stuff like that, they still have to roll. But if they're using their monster attacks, they hit automatically, which Scoozy found out to his distress last week.
Now you
So-
tell us.
That's
yeah,
right.
Jesus Christ.
So
Started off with that.
It's brutal.
I would have been on the roof.
it's,
Good at burying the lead, this GM is.
I know. So it actually doesn't move towards Offid. It gestures towards him, and you can hear this sort of psychic scream and this psychic force that shoots out of it as it sort of gestures towards him and goes like this, and Offid goes flying through the air to come and crash here against the wall and fall on the ground, taking a whole whack load of damage.
A black load?
Whack load. All right, so it's 2d8 damage. Okay. All right, so he hits the side of the barn. His bow goes flying. He falls to the ground, and he's prone on the ground. That was at 6.
From a gesture? They didn't actually make contact?
No, she was like at least
good.
15 feet away from him, and she just went and gestured, and he got picked up and flung out into the building. At 7, Dara.
Yeah, Dara is going to charge in now.
Charge Olio.
And will attack with Skyforger. Okay. So I just need to roll a hammer's check to attack, right?
Yeah, your hammer check. I will hit or under.
And do I have to declare if I'm rolling with advantage before I see the die?
I usually do that, but I'm not going to be a
Okay.
huge pain in the ass about it.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and do it this time.
Yeah, I usually want people to. I know it's kind of
Glad that I did, because the first roll was an 18 and the second is a 2.
Yeah.
go for it.
Okay. Let's see here. Just double check. So, does this by chance count as a magical creature?
It does.
Excellent. Then that is 4d6 damage.
It's a lot of damage.
Ooh.
Okay, that's 2 6s, a 4, and a 5, so 21 points of damage.
Dear God.
Nice. So its armor, it's got natural armor that reduces it a little bit, but you still do a good chunk of damage to it. A 21, you said?
I would hope so.
Yeah,
21.
It's still up there, but you did a really good Chunk of damage to it. As you hit it with this hammer and it screams, and you know that scream comes from that extra oomph you have against magical creatures, as the energy explodes and sort of ripples through it. And again, you hear it all in your mind. Like, this thing is definitely sort of has psychic powers. She can read your mind. At 8, do you want to go, Atla? You were holding.
I definitely do now. If it is close enough to that corner of shadow.
Yeah, not a problem.
I'm going to. I don't think anybody's looking at me, and that's totally fine. So I think all that you all see is Atla appears almost out of the shadow of this building, and is going to rush up, kind of behind this creature, and unsheath this beautiful dagger, and I'm going to activate backstabbing, which makes this sneak attack, which gives me a boon and some bonus damage, and we'll see. I'm just trying to make this go over. It's a 3 and a 19, so I'll take that 3. Ooh. And then I will activate my assassin ability.
Tell us what all these things do, man.
Okay, so backstabbing is whenever I can activate this ability when I make a melee attack against a creature that's like engaged with another one. So like with one of my companions. It just makes it so that I have advantage. It can't be parried or evaded or anything. It just goes through if the damage works. So a D8, 2D8. And then assassin gives me some bonus damage. Gives me an extra die. And 1 moment, let me just make sure that I'm reading this correctly. This is my first sneak attack in this system, so.
No problem. Miko, did you add your strength damage bonus?
I actually did not, so that's an extra D4.
Just 3d8 plus a d6 for my damage. So
1 additional point of damage.
14.
All right, cool.
Thank you for reminding me.
No problem.
18. 21 damage.
Nice.
That's
like the two brothers
wins.
Yeah, exactly. But he just.
I got 22.
Yeah.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Just so that D4 extra he just rolled.
Damn it.
Just enough to keep ahead of you. And you can tell as your knife goes in, like, man, like, it was just almost as much damage as he did. The scream the creature gives is just slightly less.
Motherfucker.
Just slightly less painful to hear. Awesome. All right, so
better brother showing his rights.
I'm gonna keep running too. I'm gonna see if I can move past this guy. I don't want to be here. I'm gonna go over here.
Can. At 8, it'll be going back to Idolo.
All right. At this point, Idolo will move about right here, as he's still been like hitting his staff against the ground. Suddenly, it will stop. He'll put his hand up, do a single gesture, and in a strange arcanic language, he says but a single word, and suddenly the gem on his headdress begins to glow, and I'm going to hit him with a mental strike.
All right. Mental strike me away.
Let me roll. 4. This spell can be dodged.
It doesn't have an action to dodge right now. So.
All right. Well, then it will take 5 points of damage, and the real point of it is that as it attacks and hits the victim, it also hurls the victim 5 meters. I'm trying to knock it into the well.
All right, no problem. So go there. Look, I'm going to tell you that it kind of goes over and kind of falls. It's too big to go in the well. but it'll kind of fall, kind of sitting in it, kind of thing, and it's a little bit stuck. So I'll definitely give it some disadvantage for that, as it's kind of stuck in there. Aloth, go ahead, but give me a beast lore if you want, as a non-action, as you see this creature.
Sure. Why not? Trying to beat 12. And that's a 6. Yeah.
All right, so this is a Leshen. It is a sort of spirit of nature, but an angry spirit of nature that is usually created in nature from the bones of dead animals that come together whenever nature feels threatened. They are psychically powerful and, in fact, have the power to possess living beings and take control of them.
Okay, so this is not Bambi who is on fire that we want to just maybe help and then they'll help us. This is a very
so a Leshen wouldn't have attacked here. Like if this was a town that was like, you know, doing something really terrible, Leshen might attack, but normally it wouldn't. It would just kind of, it's probably here as a response to what's been going on around the monolith, right? That nature has kind of created its own defender. It wouldn't have attacked here basically if it hadn't been caught in the storm.
Right.
But it's here now, and it's you know.
Yeah, now that it's here, I'm not going, okay, well, if we just back off, it will wander off. Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, seeing that happen, seeing the Dvargs land such savage blows and seeing it get blasted back by this mentalist magic. On this map, can I stand somewhere where I'm 10 meters from everyone? Is the scale of this?
Yeah, sure. I'll say that. I don't really count the meters and stuff like that. So if it's something that affects people around you, if they're in the zone, you know, I'd like, you know, if you were like, you know, if you were like over here and someone was over there, I would probably say no. But like in a zone like this would be fine if you move there.
Sure. So watching all this kick off, Amleth raises his voice and shouts, "That's it, boys. Failure's not really an option here. Too many people know your names." And he uses his musician ability to give everyone a boon until his next turn.
Nice. You are emboldened by a song, even though you have no fucking clue what the lyrics are, because he's singing in this weird language that they have, but it sounds pretty cool, and you know,
Amloth's more of a talker than a singer,
okay.
So it's more just sort of stirring words, I think.
So it's really what's his name the other day with that speech from the football. Awesome. All right, and that was at 9. At 10, Offit doesn't do anything. He's still kind of on the ground, prone. The Leshen will now use its ferocity, which means it gets to act twice, and so I've drawn a second initiative card for it. At 2, Outlaw. It seems to kind of be trying to extricate itself from the well.
Shit. While it's down, Atla's gonna you see him kind of reach into, he's like wheezing now a little bit, and like, but he pulls into the side of his cloak, he sort of tosses in the air and catches it with another hand. You see what looks like kind of a ice pick or like a climbing pick, and he just chucks it at the Leshen. That's a 6. Absolutely.
Nice.
So we're doing 2d6 plus 1 more d6. All 4s. That's 12 damage.
Nice.
12 slashing damage.
Cool.
And also toppling, but it's pretty toppled.
It's pretty toppled. Yeah.
Toppling takes an extra act, or like is an action of it in and of itself.
Yeah.
Right?
So
It's
basically, you would have to say, instead of I'm attacking to do damage, you'd have to say I'm attacking to topple.
Right.
I couldn't throw it in topple, I guess.
Yeah, I would say so. Like if the weapon has it, I would say that it's weighted in such a way that you could throw it in someone's legs or something, and
sure, okay,
you know.
So
that was at 2. At 3, the Leshen will go again, and as it's extricating itself from this hole, it will use its possession power. Let's see, who will it glare at? Let's see who it will choose to glare at. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 of you there. We'll do the 4. as Offit's kind of on the ground. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, Atla.
Why is it always me? Damn it.
You have a boon right now. I don't know
the
what that does
Leshen-
for you, but you have a
Well,
boon.
okay, so here you go. The Leshen glares at a player character and takes full control of the victim's body. The player character must make a will roll with a Bane. If you have an advantage and you spend it, you can get a
Make it a-
straight roll.
Sure.
It's
Yeah.
a-
But Amloth gave us boons.
Yeah, you have a boon, so you could cancel that out, right?
So I'm gonna use Amloth's boon and not one of my special.
The
bit
stirring
boons.
words.
All right.
And
you
what am
do
I
a will
shooting?
check.
I'm making a will check.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to get under a 7.
Equal or under to your will. Yeah.
You
Equal, not
can
to my
choose-
will score, but to the base
the-
roll for will.
Exactly.
You can also choose to spend your advantage and roll it with advantage.
So, yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm sick and tired of being possessed by Bleak's monsters. That's an 11 and a 13, so I'm possessed by one of Bleak's monsters.
Fuck.
So if it fails, the victims must immediately make a movement and perform an action of the Leshen's choice, except any action that requires spending willpower. The victim also loses their next turn. So it is
Cool.
going to ask you.
I don't have an
Fine.
action though, right?
No, but it's fine. It gives you an action, basically.
How
And
generous.
You lose your next action.
and you lose
can
your
have
next
an-
action.
You have one, and you don't have it.
It's like borrowing.
That's right. It is going to.
Just do it. Just do it. You know you're going to.
Yeah, no, I'm going to. It's going to send you to attack your brother.
Yeah, of course it is.
So make an attack. You're not going to do anything that would spend willpower. But let's see what you do have. Maybe you have something that you could use that would just be a pain in the ass. What do you
Can I
have,
use my
Max?
other advantage to not hit my brother? Because I got a 13, which hits right now, but I don't want to. So would you allow me to use my other
As a boon or as a bane?
as a bane?
Sure. But
Fuck, it doesn't matter. All right, cool. Yeah, it hits.
so you're going to hit him. I do not think you can't backstab or assassinate anything because it requires spending willpower points. So it's just going to be a straight up attack with, I guess, Oral/Fang, which is the only weapon you have left in your hand. And it's
3
going.
damage.
Oh. What was that?
3 damage.
3 dice. All right. Dara, do you take anything from that?
I'm not wearing armor. I was asleep.
Stuck on 3
Did
damage.
not have time to put on armor.
Your brother's
Just-
coming. Your brother runs towards
Yeah.
you, obviously coming to help you and support you in fighting this thing. And as you turn to him and give him the old, he just stabs you. Like he stabs you. But then once he does it, he looks really shocked that he's done this. So shocked that he loses his next action. I like that. So
Fuck
much.
you.
And so at 6, the Leshen's going to take its second action. It unfortunately
it
can't
is.
use the same power twice in a row. So it can't possess someone again. But it is going to use its curse. The demon points at an unfortunate player and chants an ancient curse. The attack cannot be dodged, unfortunately, and it's a random roll to see which curse it will be.
Nice knowing you, Atla.
Yeah, that's exactly. And it will point at, I think, at Idolo, because Idolo kind of pushed it into a well, and it doesn't like to be turned into a well. It is all right, and that you are cursed. The victim is blinded and acts as if in total darkness. It looks at you and it points, and suddenly everything goes black, and you can't see a damn thing in front of you. And that was at 6. At 7, it'll be Atla. No, sorry, Dara.
Yeah, Dara just ignores his brother, like he frequently does in fights, and goes over to engage with this magical beast. I'm assuming because of his inherent knowledge and understanding of magic, he does at least have a semblance of understanding that this creature did something to Atla before the attack came.
Yeah, it clearly looked at him and kind of like,
Right.
you know,
Yeah,
it did the old Marvel movie.
Mm-hmm. Twiddled its fingers. Dara is going to step over and use the boon that was given to him by Amloth and attack with Skyforger.
Go for it.
So first roll is a 12, so I'm going to hit, but rolled the second one and got another 12. So 12
It was meant to be.
hit. Yep. Okay, and so I will roll all of my damage dice at once this time. Not quite as good as last time, total of 20.
That's still pretty good. As you strike it, and please tell us how you end this poor creature's unfortunate, nightmarish life.
This is not the first time that Dara has had to put down magical creations. He fights them with regularity, so there is no like flair or anything about what he does. He simply takes Skyforger into his hand with an innate understanding of the magic of the thing, knows where to strike to weaken its magical bonds, and just lays a heavy blow into it. And as it sinks down into the ground, he just pulls his hammer back, sighs heavily, and immediately turns to start, once again trying to shepherd people safely into spaces, because the Shatterstorm, I imagine, is still going strong.
Yeah, so as you hit this thing and kill it, as it dies, it unleashes a torrent of energy, as it had been really kind of infected by the Shatterstorm. It infects a torrent of energy, and the empty rune lock that you used earlier gets replenished. And you can roll a d4, and we'll see what kind of energy it's replenished with.
Okay. I got a 3.
3. So fire, earth, water. So water, it's replenished with water energy.
By the way, I'd had fire and air, lightning, whatever is the equivalent before. So
as the creature dies, you hear in your head, Adolo, a psychic shriek, and suddenly your vision starts coming back, and you realize that you're lucky, because this probably would have continued on for some time. And as that happens, the curtain of water that you had seen approaching starts raining down into the city, and slowly the fires are sort of being put out. Amloth, as Dara is helping his brother and helping people, and Adolo is circling back, you notice that Offit is not moving on the ground where he is lying.
Are we still in combat?
No, you're out of combat.
I run over to him and check everything I can.
When you get there, you realize that like his legs are in a really weird kind of position, and he's got blood coming from his mouth. And as you approach, he's like, "Did we get it? Is it dead?
Shh, don't talk, friend. Don't talk.
Is it dead?
It's dead.
Listen, my pouch. Take my belt pouch." And you know that he has this sort of belt pouch that is attached around his waist, but then comes down over his leg and attaches, and Miko will know what this is, but attaches over his thigh and wraps around it. It's this really ornate tool leather pouch that he's always kind of fiddling with and kind of adding little bits and stuff to it. He's like, take it, reach inside. There's a letter from the Archdruid. Read it. Take what's in the bag. And as he's doing that, as you're kind of dismantling that and trying to take that, he's removing his armor. He's got this leather armor, he's removing it. And as he's removing it, you see that where he's taken damage, and there was some fire that had come to him. The armor was damaged. As he's removing it, the armor is starting to repair itself. As he's sort of like, take my armor also. You'll need it.
I won't need it. You're going to need it yourself when you come with me. Come on.
I'm done for. I can't feel my legs. I can barely breathe. Take the satchel.
All right,
reach inside. There are more things in there than you can imagine. Just read the letter and follow what it says. And with that, his eyes close. He stops breathing.
I put my forehead to his and put a hand round the back of his head and just say, rest now, friend. I hope it doesn't hurt anymore. Let me sing you home. And with my forehead to his, I just take a minute or so to hum a low Wildren melody until I feel like he's completely gone and cold.
And as the rain is coming down on top of you and the fires are being extinguished and people are coming out and trying to help you all finish putting out the fires and tending to some of the wounded, and people are trying to pull this Leshen out of the well, and Amoth kneels there in the rain, singing this mournful dirge over the body of his fallen comrade. We will end there for tonight. In this moment of calm after the storm, and return next week to see what happens in the aftermath of this terrible storm and this attack of this terrible creature, the Leshen. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you very much. It was a lot of fun.
It's kicking off.
Yeah.
It is kicking off. It is happening.
Dropping in.
Thank you so much. Thank you to our viewers hanging out with us, playing with us, chatting. We super appreciate you. As you all saw, these are extremely, extremely talented, gifted, wonderful role players. I would like to give them a chance, please, to introduce yourselves again. And we will start, as we usually do, when we try to possess people with the Scoos.
Hi, everybody. I'm Scoos News.
Phoenixy Wacky. I'm sorry, Scoos. Phoenixy Wacky, thank you for the raid. Coming in the last moment here as we are just on our way out, but thank you so much for the raid. We appreciate it. I was introducing the man I like to possess, known as the Scoos. Sorry for interrupting you, Scoos.
Oh, no worries. That's a raid is definitely better than what just happened. Yeah, I you can find me here on Guild Superior playing in Bleak's uplifting and chipper games, and I play Atla, who is he's not having a good time right now. He's just possessed by a creature and stabbed his brother. It's pretty fucked up.
I mean, let's be honest. It's not the first time that
I've wanted to, but I've never done like 3 points of damage to you before, right?
Oh, come on. Surely we have.
Not intentionally. You know what I mean? Like, well, actually, it was intentionally. This was an accidental stab. This was somebody else making me stab you, and that I'm not okay with.
Right.
I would like to do all of the stabbing. Yeah, super excited to play with everybody. This is a lot of fun.
Cool. Did you say where we can find you?
Oh, yeah, you can find me on Twitter, excuse me. You can find me on the Discord at Hanging Out in the Superior Adventurers Guild.
There you go. Hanging out, being a nuisance, but we love it so much. Thank you so much for being part of this again. Your brother, let's talk to your brother, not your real brother, but your, in-game brother. Miko, the OK's GM. How you doing, Miko? Sorry that I had to have you stabbed by your brother, but, this is how the dice stumble.
game life mirrors real life.
That's right.
Hi, everyone. I am Miko. As mentioned, I am the OKSGM. You can find me on all the socials at the _OKS_GM. My links are in the chat, or at least should be soon enough. Yeah, I produce things. I play things. I GM things. I create things. Hit me up if you ever want to talk about any of these things. I'm on the Discords and socials and happy to chat.
Cool. Thank you so much for being here and participating in this. I appreciate you tremendously. Another person I appreciate tremendously, and I'm very happy to not get taken away to the land of Oz today by some nasty tornado, is the man who avoided a really bad curse tonight. Man playing a Dolo, Adrian. How you doing, Adrian?
I'm doing good. You know, I was thinking if my character did go blind like permanently, it would still match perfectly with my character, but who knows what the adventure may bring. My name is Adrian. You can find me on the interwebs on Twitter at Sly Sparrow and on the SAG Discord channel, always talking about GMing, DMing, and tabletop role-playing games. So come and chat. I play the character Idolo Jumbi, who's kind of a mentalist monk, and just watch two brothers fight each other. And just kind of like, you know, when you're ever at a bar, you watch two people fighting and you want to stop it, but then you realize they're related, so you just kind of let it happen. You know, that's kind of what just happened until I went blind. But I'm back now, so lots of fun playing with you all. Thank you all for watching and for chatting along with us, and looking forward to see what the next adventure brings.
A lot of weirdness. So just so you know, basically every shift you got to make a roll to see if it would come back, but it could take a while till you get that. You have to roll a d6 and you have to roll a 6 to
Gotcha.
every shift. So it could have taken a while, but you know, you killed a Leshen, so you got it right. Well, actually, you didn't kill a Leshen, but it got killed. And finally, the man who has just realized that Dragonbane monsters don't fuck around. Oh, how you doing? I'm sorry for killing your friend there, but
yeah, well, my DM just gave me a best friend 3 hours ago, and now he just killed him. So I'm tying
one
myself in
hand
knots.
giveth, the other hand
Yeah,
taketh
exactly.
away.
I'm reassessing what the hell I've got myself in for. Thank you, everyone, for watching. My name is Olo Clark. I'm the creative director over at Escape Plan Games. So you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at JackBNimble42. The number's 42. And you can find Escape Plan at ePlan Games or at www.escapeplangames. Looking forward to what Chris has in store, considering that was session 1. Yeah, bring it on.
Happy that you're still willing to come back. You know, usually the players, that's why I go through so many players, Jake, in one game. They're like, what? Screw this noise. I'm out of here. I am the Bleakseason. I am on Twitter at the Bleakseason. You can check out bleakseason.com for information about the Shadesong game. I want to thank Andy, my producer. I want to thank my players. Thank you so much. Very wonderful. And all the raiders and the viewers who hung out with us tonight. We appreciate you very much. We got tons of good stuff as always going on at SAG on Sunday. DM Dave is running his Mothership sci-fi horror RPG, torturing the players and making them wish that they'd picked a different career path. But here they are on this ship, and it's a lot of crazy horror, good fun. On Monday is New Varden starting?
New Varden. Yeah, New Varden.
So we have Dungeon Mr. Tyre bringing back New Varden for a residency of 4 weeks here on Monday nights, on Monday Night Mayhem, show produced by Miko. Of course, New Varden, the game that is being produced by Dungeon Mr. Tyre and his daughter, I do believe. We had a run of 8 games recently that was very successful, and we got another one here with, again, some really good players. On Tuesday, we go back to DM Dave's World of Greyhawk, the Heroes of Greyhawk. As we have just lost one of our friends. I get to play in that one. Very fortunate. And we've just lost one of our the characters has died last game, and so now we are forced to reckon with that and deal with that as we head out to the Moat House and on to further adventures. And we will be back. Oh, next Wednesday we have a special one-shot. Next Wednesday, Their Fangs Mean Blood, GM'd by Chris Hislop of Roll Together RPG. A little
cool.
special one-shot that we did, of like queer vampire pirates on the high seas. It was
So much fun.
it was Adrian and Miko participated in that also.
I love Chris.
Miko produced it, and Adrian was in it, and it was a crazy good time. It was very different.
And you played
offbeat.
in it too, Chris. Christian,
Yeah,
you
I
played in it too.
Yeah. I played in it with Adrian. Nico produced it, and we had some great play. Natalie Winter and was here, and Beth Masco and Annika played with us. I hope I'm not missing anybody that was in there. But we had a great time. It was a bit different, bit offbeat, a bit different for us here at SAG. We had a wonderful time with it, very raunchy humor. So
I don't know how offbeat it was for you, Christian. You literally played like your spirit animal edgelord.
The rat was awesome. Anyways, we had a good time. We're going to be running that at 7 Central, 8 Eastern next Wednesday, and then back here next Thursday for part 2 of the Wreckage of Stars here at Shadesong with these awesome players. Thank you so much. It's late enough. We are going to raid our good friend Darling Creepshow. Keep your eye out. Starting in March, we'll be running a special 6-part cult game over on Darling Creepshow's channel on Fridays. DM Dave is going to be playing in that. It's going to be for mature audiences only. It's going to be twisted, dark, evil, all sorts of gnarly stuff, as if my games don't usually have that. But this time I've been unfettered, and it's going to be pretty crazy. So check out the socials for more information on that. We're going to raid Darling Creepshow, give her some awesome Guild Superior love when we get in there. Thank you so much, Raiders. Thank you so much, Watchers. And we are out of here. We'll see you around the bend. Cheers.